time for the hosts to take centre stage, Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka, the home team, the whole nation has started this tournament with a bang.
I always talk to my team and said, keep it simple, play your natural game, no pressure on your shoulders, just play, just enjoy the game in the middle. End of the day, the best team will in the competition on the cup.
Way down! Oh!
I think we are ready. We want to win, so we'll give our best. That is our main goal, to play good cricket.
All the teams are same for us. Every match we have a challenge.
And I feel like the girls have worked really, really hard to get to this point, like the last 10 years. Go for Malaysia. Wish us luck.
Well, the hosts are back in the house. What an impressive start for Chamari Athapaththu side in their opening game of the Women's Asia Cup against Bangladesh. They are favourites and are expected to march towards the semi-finals as they take on Malaysia in Group B action. It's a Malaysian team that still are in search of their first win in the tournament. They had their moments against Thailand. They're up against a formidable side in the hosts. We are once again blessed with great weather here for the hosts, back in action against Malaysia, and we are all set now for the toss in the middle with Isabel Joyce.
Well, things are really hotting up in the contest, but also out here is a hot contest for the toss. I have the two captains with me. From Sri Lanka, it's Chamari Athapaththu. From Malaysia, it's Winifred Doraisingam. And we, of course, have the match referee, GS Lakshmi, who's going to keep things in line. Have we got a coin? Take it away, Chamari.
Heads. Heads is the call. It's tails. Bat first.
Just grab your mic for me there. Thank you. Just for anyone who didn't hear, you've won the toss. What are you going to do? And tell us why.
We are going bat first. Because I'm pretty confident about my batting unit, so we choose bat first.
Okay, well, look, it's probably your best chance of winning the Asia Cup. You've had many opportunities in the final. What do you think is so special about this team that gives you the best opportunity now?
Actually, we give opportunities for the youngsters, and we have to play our best cricket every day. Keep it simple, and we try our best.
How extra special would it be to do it at home?
We don't want to take too much pressure on our shoulders. Yeah, we play in our home soil. So we keep it simple. We stick with our plans. We try to execute our plan right time.
Any changes to the team?
We are going with 4 changes. Amma, Kavya, Sachini and Shashini back into the side.
Well remembered. Well, good luck in this one. Thank you so much, Chamari.
Thank you.
And best of luck in the contest. Winifred, if you'd won the toss, what would you have done?
We've decided to bat as well, because looking like a good track to bat on, but we were ready for both.
It's been a tough contest for you historically. You need your first win in the competition. How are you going to go about doing that?
We'll just come back strong from the last game, and I see the girls are all pumped up and ready to go for today's match.
Anything in particular that you've taken from that game you're going to bring into today?
We'll take all the positive and show it on today's match.
Finally, any changes to the team?
We got one change, which is Intan is out and Izatol is on her first debut match today, so it'll be a good go for her.
Okay, thank you so much, Winnie. So that's the news from the middle. Sri Lanka have won the toss. They're going to bowl first.
Right, so we're going to see the home team bat first now. Chamari Athapaththu looks confident. She wants her batters to have a full 20 overs. And we are all set here in Dambulla. Marina Iqbal's been with us. And the busiest man in Sri Lankan cricket has now been taken from Colombo to Dambulla. Welcome, Roshan Abeyasinghe.
Thank you, Ronak.
And I'm sure you took one of those drones from that spectacular show and flew here as
Yes,
quickly as you
indeed.
could.
I came on a drone. I was hanging on to a drone.
And you must be thrilled with how Sri Lanka started. Marina, what we saw from the opening game, so impressive, and they're favourites today.
Oh, definitely they are. I mean, they're all sorted, and you have an added advantage when you're home team. You know the conditions, you've got the crowd on your back, and the way they fielded was spectacular. And again, people standing up, apart from Chamari Athapaththu, has given them a lot of strength.
They're in a great space at the moment, Sri Lanka. Big win against Bangladesh, who were the other formidable team you'd think in this group. And now they're expected to get the job done against Malaysia. Roshan, there seems to be an optimism around this Sri Lankan women's team, isn't there?
Absolutely, there is great optimism, especially because the likes of Chamari Athapaththu, she's been brilliant. Some great young girls coming through, and also it's a nice blend. We've got some young batters and experienced bowling, so it is a very good combination that Sri Lanka is carrying at the moment. They're bringing in a lot of experience. Chamari at the top. There's some young girls coming through in the top and the middle order, but the bowling unit is very good.
Yeah, their fielding was outstanding. There are some changes which we'll get to in a little while from now. For Malaysia, a single change as well for Winifred Duraisingham. They'll have the chance to chase again, and they did have their moments in the chase against Thailand.
Yeah, they did put up a fight, but again, I think someone else need to stand up apart from Duraisingham and also one Julie. I think Elsa Hunter is also one of those amongst the runs for them. She's averaging like 22. Yep. She needs to stand up because that's where they're struggling. The openers are doing well, but someone from the middle order needs to stand.
All right, well, we've had some terrific conditions out in the middle. We switched pitches yesterday, same one today, and we've got Athar Ali Khan in the house to tell us more.
Thank you, Ronak. Yeah, if you look at the conditions, it's really big kind of wind blowing across, so we'll keep things cooler in the middle because it's hot and humid. Remember, this is the same surface which was used yesterday. India smashed 201. 25 fours and 4 sixes. Would you believe it? It turned out to be a batting paradise. And looking at this right now, it looks a really good surface. Nicely rolled on. It's hard. Yep. And I expect the ball coming on nicely onto the bat. The boundary is 59 meters all around. We've already seen the outfield. When you find the gap, it races to the boundary. Important for teams who are batting first to take it a little bit easier initially, because I reckon with this wind might favor the spinners or the seamers if they get it right on the stumps. Bowl straight and don't try too many things differently. If you do that, you will put the pressure on the batters. Looks like a very good wicket for batting.
All right, brilliant. Thank you very much to Athar Ali Khan. We'll find out more when Sri Lanka bat here. Now let's focus on how impressive they were in their opening game against Bangladesh. And what we saw was just a team outclassing the other. We look at key performers. Fielding was outstanding, and that would have thrilled Chamari Athapaththu as a tournament starter, Marina.
Oh yeah, I mean, as a captain, nothing pleases you more than each and every of your player putting a total effort in. And I think apart from fielding, she would be happy how Harshita actually stood up and wished me that brilliant knock. The way she played a clean, calculated knock for that chase, I think that was exceptional. And that might have given Chamari a bit more confident. But I think that this surface in the morning is slightly tricky.
Yeah, Roshan, one good thing is we always thought Sri Lanka depended on Chamari Athapaththu, but Vishmi Gunaratne, as we look at just how good she's been for Sri Lanka, has changed that a little, hasn't it?
Yeah, very much. You know, that's because cricket has been open to the girls now, and there is better structured tournaments. So lots of young cricketers are coming through. This is an example. She comes from a school in the Western Province, Ratnavali, I believe, from Gampaha. So that's a school that's not known for cricket. So Chamari Athapaththu was the icon. She was the one that everyone wanted to follow. And this is, as you correctly said, a very healthy sign for Sri Lankan women's cricket going forward.
And it's not only that she's looking good, but she started a big tournament well. She's picked up a 50 at home for the first time. And it was a memorable evening with the crowd in the house when Sri Lanka started their campaign with a win against Bangladesh.
Bangladesh have won the toss. We will bat first.
As a captain, I'm really proud of my girls. The last couple of months, we are playing really good cricket.
Cleaned up. That's the answer. Oh, that's a beauty. That's a beauty.
We work hard on the fielding. We work a couple of areas. Especially thanks goes to the coaching staff, especially fielding coach as well.
What a stunner! The highest standards of fielding on display by the hosts in Dambulla.
Which is really good, and our team did a great job in the field. That's why we were able to put 111 runs. I'm able to bat with her in opening. She's the world #1 batter, so I'm really grateful.
That is just quality. Absolute quality from Vishmi Gunaratne.
I'm really happy about my inning because I was able to score 51 runs and It was really helpful to my team.
Our ultimate goal is to win the trophy.
That will be victory.
I hope my girls will continue this performance in next few games as well.
She's received high praise from her captain. It was a special day for Vishmi Gunaratne, and now they're up against Malaysia, and Vishmi and Chamari will have the chance to carry on against the team they're expected to win. But for Malaysia, let's just spend some time on them as far as how they could take something from this game. Now, we know Sri Lanka are favourites, but we also know, Marina, that in this tournament, you can take nothing for granted. Malaysia?
Yeah, the beauty of T20 is it's very unpredictable. And again, as I mentioned, the morning game's a little bit tricky. The surface it doesn't allow you to score freely. Malaysia would have chance to watch Sri Lanka bat, and they would have definitely done their homework. But what they need to do is field better and bowl better, because this is a whole different opposition than Thailand. They've put up a good fight, but they need to be clinical.
As we reflect on that game, though, where do you sense they could have perhaps pulled the game closer to them? For about 8-9 overs in the chase, they certainly were in front.
I think as long as the openers were in the middle, Malaysia thought they had a chance, but no one from the middle order stood up. That's where they lacked. They had the potential, probably would have fielded better, but in terms of batting, that's where they're struggling massively, and I think someone again needs to stand up along the captain.
Yeah, you saw that Thai team. They're lovely to watch. They'll be in action later this evening in a really big game. But as we continue our focus on key players for Malaysia, and Wan Julia was the top scorer. She got a 50. Roshan, always good if one of your players in these teams starts with a score, inspires the others, and you were speaking to a little while back.
Absolutely. I think that's very important. And also, one thing that we need to understand in T20 cricket is about batting deep. And you need to bat long. When you're in, you got to do that. You know, because Wan Julia, as a wicket-keeper opening bat, you get your 50, bat deep. If you can bat for 15 overs, you laid the foundation. And it's about going in. I always believe teams need to go into the last 5 overs with wickets in hand, with set batters. So that's why when you're in, you need to make sure that you make it big.
And it's good to have a role model in the team. They know that one of their batters batted 50 balls, got a half century. Perhaps it'll inspire some of the others. And their captain, Winifred Duraisingham, actually mentioned that Elsa Hunter's wicket in the last game was key because she's such an important player. Forget all the serious talk. Let's have some fun with Elsa Hunter. She is our dressing room insider.
Nicely picked up in the gap. She is quality, is Elsa Hunter, and that's the first evidence of it today.
My name is Elsa Hunter. I play for the Malaysian national women's cricket team. I'm a batting all-rounder, and I'm 19 years old, and I currently reside in Sydney, Australia, and I play for the New South Wales Breakers as well. Aisha Elisa. She's got one of the best fashion senses I know in the team. Ooh, Marcelisa. She's very, very loud, but she really gets the team hyped up for everything, training, games. Aisha Elisa. I'm pretty sure she once forgot her playing gear and we had to go back and get it all the way from the ground, which was like 20, 30 minutes away from the hotel. Wan Julia, she's one of our senior players and she's very wise. I feel like she's just got an aura to her, like her presence is very strong, and I feel like a lot of girls go up to her when they're having problems or anything they want advice on, and because of her experience.
We're keen to see the best of Elsa Hunter. If she has a performance, perhaps Malaysia can take a lot out of this game. For now, the story is very much on Sri Lanka, but later this evening, what a game we have ahead of us. Thailand with the win over Malaysia against a Bangladesh team still winless in 2024. Double-header action continues on in the Women's Asia Cup 2024, and that is what we've got in the evening. Similar situation that Pakistan were in, Marina Iqbal. Bangladesh have to win.
Oh yes, no doubt about that. And I think I had a word with Jyoti and she knew exactly where it went wrong. So probably they are one of those wise teams that they can understand and learn quickly and adjust. But Thailand, you can never write them off. I mean, the commitment, the determination they have, they want to do big, they want to do big for themselves as the individual and player as well. it's going to be a great contest.
Yeah, we've just asked Roshan to fly from one of his drones into the commentary box. Marina's still very much with me. And the focus as we fast approach the semi-finals. It's early days and yet the business end comes around. Such is the wonderful nature of this format. But Pakistan would have slept so much better last night after the win against Nepal. Marina certainly did. Up against a UAE team when now we can expect Pakistan to not falter, Marina?
Oh yes, definitely. I mean, that meant a lot to them, especially the way they played in terms of batting. They were struggling immensely in batting, and how the openers, probably Gulfiroza, would have loved to finish the job. But again, the momentum is back at them. They need to understand that each and every game moving forward is important.
And of course, after that, India, firm favourites for yet another Asia Cup title, and they will have the challenge of Nepal up against them. Lovely opportunity for Indu Burma Court to take on an informed, strong Harmanpreet Kaur's India as they sit pretty at the top of the points table of Group A, and Pakistan and Nepal and the UAE. Well, funny things can happen. Pakistan have to get the job done. So let's watch out for that tomorrow. Back to our focus on Sri Lanka and Malaysia. We saw 200 plus yesterday. Will we see it today?
Probably in the morning, I think it's a little bit less scoring, so probably something around 145.
All right, Marina Iqbal, thank you very much. The hosts in action, live action, coming right up. takes centre stage. Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka, the home team, the whole nation has started this tournament with a bang.
I always talk to my team and said, keep it simple, play your natural game, no pressure on your shoulders, just play, just enjoy the game in the middle. End of the day, the best team will in the competition on the cup.
Oh!
I think we are ready. We want to win, so we'll give our best. That is our main goal, to play good cricket.
All the teams are same for us. Every match we have a challenge.
And I feel like the girls have worked really, really hard to get to this point, like the last 10 years. Go for Malaysia. Wish us luck.
We are in a beautiful part of Sri Lanka and we are in Dabula where we see lots of wildlife and some really nice scenery. And I can tell you that the ground too is located in a beautiful place. Now if you want to see wildlife, you just need to come here. As we are here for the Asia Cup as they arrive. These are the Sri Lankan ladies coming up or arriving for this all-important Asia Cup game coming up at Dabula. And let me remind you that the Women's Asia Cup 2024 is being played at the Rangiri Dambulu Stadium. And it is, as you did see, a very nice part of Sri Lanka and a beautiful facility as well. And this is the first game coming up today of the doubleheader, Sri Lanka versus Malaysia. And don't forget, it is a doubleheader, so another really good game coming up in the evening. And that is Bangladesh versus Thailand. So two fantastic games coming up. So don't go too far away. You're going to have some really good cricket. And the toss happened a little while earlier. And Athapaththu won the toss and she had no hesitation in batting first on very good batting conditions. So I got Athar Ali Khan and I also got Isabel with me. And let me start with Athar. Sri Lanka team, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, they made 4 changes, and after winning that first match against Bangladesh, one would have thought that it would have gone with the winning combination. Really interesting to see right at the bottom, right at the end, Sashini Hani, she's the left-arm wrist spinner. Interesting to see how she goes about with the ball.
Isabel, your chance on Malaysia.
Well, Malaysia really need their batters to fire. Of course, they're bowling first, but it's their batting they'll be worried about. Elsa Hunter, she's a top star for them. She didn't perform last game. She'll be desperate to get in amongst the runs.
Right, one thing about Sri Lanka is that they have played some really good cricket and they have held on to some outstanding catches, some magnificent fielding, some brilliant catching, and generally it's been all-round cricket in this first game for Sri Lanka. Some stunning catches and some simple ones as well. And just take a look at this. This capped it all. Great reflexes. And that's how well they have fielded. So there are a few players indeed to watch out on both teams. And well, these are the Sri Lankan top ones. We got Harshika, we got Chamari, we got Udeshika Prabodhini. But Vishmi Gunaratna is another player that is promising a lot, and we certainly caught up with her just a little while earlier. Vishmi, for someone as young as you, just 18 years, just tell us your experience so far in your short career.
I've been playing in Sri Lankan team since 2021 and I've gained a lot of experience from these years. So I'm doing my natural game and everything contribution to my team.
So how do you find playing in these big events? You played in a World Cup, you're now playing in an Asia Cup. Does it give you, too much of pressure, or are you just enjoying it?
No, I'm just enjoying. If I get any pressure, then I won't be able to do my natural game. And I played last year the ICC World Cup, and this is my first Asia Cup. So I'm enjoying it.
So how do you manage the pressure? I mean, when you come to the ground, you know it's a big event. So how do you manage it?
Yeah, this is a big event, but if I take any pressure, then I won't be able to score runs. So in fielding, and I won't be able to do anything if I get any pressure. So I don't take any pressure.
So you're batting with someone very senior and a champion. How much have you learned from her?
Yeah, Chamari Akka, she's the world #1 batter, and she's. I can learn many things from her, and she's telling me what should I do when it comes to a tough situation. So I'm grateful.
What about the knock you played here? Half century, everyone's talking about it. They think that you're the next big thing of Sri Lanka cricket. How do you manage to absorb that?
Yeah, I'm really happy about that performance, but it's in the past now, so I have to be present in the moment and play today's game.
All the best to you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Vishmi Gunaratne, that is. And then what about Malaysia? They've been good as well, and they do have some wonderful performers, but none better than Wang Julia, who played a very fine innings, wicketkeeper batter, did get a fine half century. A good start for Wang Julia as well as for the team. 52 of 53 balls, some exquisite stroke play, deft touches. And don't forget, she's also a wicketkeeper, not afraid to come down the pitch, take on the spinners. And let's take a look at some of the key players. Winifred Durisingham, Elsa Hunter, Wang Julia, of course, 831 runs. And we did feel that we should talk to her. And we did that just a little while earlier, speaking to Wang Julia. Julia, personally a good start for you in the tournament. Got a good half century. How is it as a wicketkeeper to be keeping and opening in a tournament?
Thank you for. I think I'm enjoying my keeping and opening because I know I can adapt with the pitch condition quite fast than others.
Does it help you? Because being a wicketkeeper, you keep sighting the ball, and when you go out to bat, do you use that?
Yeah, it helping me a lot because I know it's not easy to focus on under 20 balls in every innings, and it make my eyes getting sharp and focus more while I'm batting.
So how do you find these competitions, these tournaments like this for Malaysian cricket?
It's a very good experience for me because this I think my third Asia Cup, and I find it's a good experience for our team as well because we have been work hard to be in this tournament.
So thank you very much for talking to us, and all the best.
Thank you so much.
So that is the Malaysian wicketkeeper batter. She was excellent with that half century, and we are about to start play. It's a very hot day, I must say, but the saving grace has been the strong breeze, the cross breeze. We have the Sri Lankan openers ready to come out, and well, let's see how well the Sri Lankan batters try to respond to this Malaysian bowling attack. These are generally good surfaces. With me, Athar Ali Khan, a good friend from Bangladesh, and of course we got Isabel Joyce. Let me go to ladies first. Isabel, good afternoon. Lovely to have you. Your thoughts on this game?
Thank you so much, and welcome to everybody on the broadcast. I think it's great to see Sri Lanka, the home team, getting a bat first. I'm not surprised because Chamari Athapaththu will be desperate to get amongst the runs, much like Vishmi Gunaratne was in the first game. She was as impressive as always. Looks like a player well beyond her years. Such a youngster, big career ahead of her. Makes it look very easy, but Chamari Athapaththu will be sweating on a few runs down the other end.
Athar, what do you think Malaysia should be looking for here? Obviously, they're going in as underdogs, but then in T20 cricket, you cannot write off a side.
Yeah, you got to back yourself as a bowler in these conditions. They're up against a quality side, Sri Lanka.
Right, we're going to see Duresh Singh opening the bowling. Vishmi Gunaratne, who came off a wonderful half century in that last game. Winifred Durisingham, 48 wickets in 69 matches. That's a good average. It's a hot surface. It's I beg your pardon, a hot day, but a good surface to bat. It's a spread out field. There aren't any slips. A fine leg and a third are the two fielders outside the 30-yard circle. A right-handed batter and a left-handed batter. The captain, Chamari Athapaththu, the left-hander, but we got Vishmi Gunaratne. And starts off with a fairly gentle first delivery.
Yeah, no real pace from Winnie Durisingham, but she does tend to bowl a difficult length, and it slightly swings away, low arm action. I am surprised to see they haven't gone with the slip because she got a number of edges in the last game. That's probably their best way of taking a wicket. Bowling first, you have to try and get one of the openers out early.
Nice use of the feet.
Yeah, you got that absolutely spot on, Isabel, in terms of the slips in place, because it's the new ball. And if you could get it right, there will be something for the bowler. Nice and easy approach to the crease. Perhaps could have gone a little bit closer onto the stumps. That's drifted down the leg side. So first one's on the board, a clip of her legs.
There is a very strong breeze that's blowing across the ground. So she has that lower arm action, as you said. So if she's looking to get that outswing, she can use this breeze a lot to the right hand. And now to the left hand, it's interesting. She's still continuing to bowl over the wicket. She's got that leg side area open. Nobody behind Squalling on the leg side, but a ring on the off. Third and a fine leg are the two fielders. She's got to be tight with her line here. See, that's where she shouldn't be looking to bowl. She needs to start around the off stump.
Well, she's lucky that Chamari Athapaththu is maybe not in her best form, because that's usually one you'd see sailing over the boundary rope on the leg side. I think she's staying over the wicket because of that low arm action. It'd be difficult for her coming around. She'd be so wide of the crease trying to get it into the stumps.
Catch it is the call, but that's 4. Chamari Athapaththu pounces on a loose delivery. That's the first boundary.
Yeah, it's a cracking shot through the offside. She's very strong, especially the deliveries that are full. It was wide, but still went after it and thumped it away. Yes, it was in the air. There were shouts of catch it, but no fielder there in that position. It's a 4 all the way.
Very important that you get a good start. The power plays need to be utilized. Good fielding. End of the first over, 5 without loss. That's a look at the Sri Lankan team. A fair bit of experience, I must say. Chamari Athapaththu obviously head and shoulders above the rest of the Sri Lankan team. Malaysia, of course, is an emerging team. But they've done very well so far in the tournaments they play, the bilaterals they play. Plenty of promising cricketers. But still a lot of cricket need to be played. Not much of exposure as far as they are concerned. They'll only get better. Very excited to see young Vishmi Gunaratne. Swabika. Left arm. Little chip in the air. Taken. They've got a wicket. Vishmi Gunaratne, the one who got a half century in the previous game. A friendly, soft dismissal.
Yeah, what a start. What an excellent start this is from Swabika. Very first delivery, which was pitched up. Soft dismissals in the end, because I thought she just went very lazily at it and straight into the hands. Terrific from Malaysia. They pick up their first wicket. Yeah, she goes for 1. It's 5 for 1.
Harshita Samaravikrama, pretty decent average. That strike rate is 93, 550s. Any average close to 30 or more than 30 is considered good. And she's on 27. And just 26 years of age. Has made this number 3 position her own. Not pacey. She runs in, gets a hint of movement back into the left-hander. Another look at that wicket.
just take a ball to look at it. That's what she needed to do. Threw the shot far too early. Also didn't just go through with it. If she'd thrown the hands at it, you never know. It could have sailed over. It was like she couldn't believe that she'd played the shot.
Nicely forced off the back foot. Should run away to the boundary. One thing about this outfield is it gives you value for money. Harshita is up and running.
Lovely, lovely shot. That's a beautiful shot to play. Took the time off the back foot and then finds the gap. Didn't try to overhit it. They just pure sheer timing. And when you find the gap, pointed it out, Roshan, it will go to the boundary.
Well, it's not easy to find the gap there, Arthur, because there are 5 fielders. Not easy to thread that needle. It's a strong offside field. Inter movement back into the left-hander. Goes a bit wide of the crease.
I think important for Malaysia to realize the frontline bowlers to ensure they bowl stump to stump. It's about not giving too much width. They bowled a little bit wide on both sides to the batters earlier on. The important now field changes. Fielder at fine leg comes inside the circle. The fielder at mid off goes behind at long off.
See, at her pace, I would like to see third into short third. Short and wide, short and wide. Now, I'd rather have a fielder behind cover and bring the third into the 30-yard circle.
Well, they've given you the cover. They're trying to decide who out of third and mid-off is going to be inside the ring. Both coming in at the moment. It should really be mid-off. Don't worry about your third. If you get an edge and it goes for 4, that's going to happen. Set the field for what you're planning on bowling. That little bit of width is exactly what Sri Lanka are waiting to pounce on.
So dot ball to end the over. It is 9 for 1 at the end of 2 overs. And let's hear from the Sri Lankan captain, Chamari Athapaththu.
This is the biggest festival, because the biggest tournament in Asia for women's cricket. So a lot of Indian, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lankan fans watching these games, even Nepal, Thailand as well. So yeah, this is big comp. So these things improve cricket around the Asia and around the world as well.
9 for 1. Look at where Chamari is batting. She's batting outside the crease. She's trying to make some pace for herself. Full toss. 4. That's on the leg stump. That's a gift. You don't bowl that kind of deliveries with a packed offside field.
Well, if you're nervous about scoring runs, what you want is a full toss early on, and with the power that Chamari has, she can ease that for 4. Later on in her innings, she will hit that for 6. She's just playing within herself at the moment, but that is a gift.
This is better. She's going to come round the wicket, but I'd still like to see a square leg out on the boundary. Not a third, because she's not quick by any means to have a third on the boundary. Bring that third in to short third. Have a fielder at backward square leg. Seemed to be the right thing for me.
Yeah, it's also about line and lengths. Remember that if you're bowling too wide, they're going to take their chances, and they picked up a couple of boundaries.
It's much better. They ease that movement back into the left hand, and that's she's using the cross breeze, because if you look at the scoreboard, if you look at the flags on top of the scoreboard, you could see how strong the breeze is. And she, bowling from that end, could... There you are. That's what I'm talking about. It's very strong breeze. So she can bend it back into the left-hander.
Absolutely. And with someone like Chamari, you have to try and get her out. What's the mode of dismissal they're looking for here? It's hard to see how exactly they're thinking they're going to get the captain of Sri Lanka out with this field.
This time there is a fielder at 45, but she's got to be mindful here, Arthur. Her line, as you said, has to be very good, not on the leg stump.
Yeah, apart from that first delivery, I think she's been spot on. She got away the last time because it was drifting down the leg side, and she hit it straight to the fielder at short fine. She needs to finish off nicely here.
That's what she does. That's what she does. A dot to end the over. This is a good start for Malaysia. 13 for 1, Sri Lanka. Let's look at the Sri Lankan side. They've lost Vishmi Gunaratne, the young 18-year-old. Quite a few changes for Sri Lanka. Amar Kanchana. They got Kavya Kavindi, Sachini Nisansala and Sashini Gimhani, the ones coming in. So we do have Swabika left arm medium. I like, this is a better looking field. She's got her field on the extra cover boundary, but I like that fine leg to move a little bit squarer because of her pace.
Yeah, not too often you'd see a side making 4 changes right at the start of the tournament, even though they had a winning start against Bangladesh. Bit of a surprise for me. Surprise for you guys?
Well, I saw them recently at the global qualifiers, and it was something they did every game. 2-3 changes, and at the semi-final and final they had their set team, and that was the team that started the tournament here.
I think what you say, Atha, makes a lot of sense, because you don't win a game and then change 4. But as you say, Isabel, Romesh Ratnayaka is a firm believer that he tries and, you know, tests his bench strength as much as he can. So that could be the way forward for him. That's why these 4 changes. But yes, you like to have a settled side rather than chopping and changing. This time it's 4. That's what she does well. She drags it from outside the off stump, working the angle. That's why I felt a square leg is better than a fine leg fielder.
Yeah, she was looking good against Bangladesh. Remember, she scored 33, batting at number 3, and again, it's on to the pads. And that has been swept away quite nicely all along the carpet for a boundary. And this is good, really good from both the batters.
Ratnayaka, he's done wonders with this side. Took over the Sri Lankan head coach's position. That's a poor delivery, and that's gone. That's swept behind square leg. In fact, gone down to fine leg. There's comfort too. Good running, very good running.
Well, we've seen the 2 real strengths of Samarik Vikrama, because she's very good off the back foot through the offside and excellent on the sweep. Here is the sweep shot, and the running as well. That's her 3rd biggest strength. So quick between the wickets.
Well bowled. Sometimes bowlers of this pace, they're very difficult to get away. They're ever slow, always at you, hardly gives you any pace. And you tend to struggle because you hardly have any pace to deal with. So we got the last ball of the over coming up. Dot to end the over. 4 done. 20 for 1. Chamari Athapaththu grew up seeing the likes of Sana Jayasuriya, Aravinda De Silva, and she bats left-handed. So she models herself on Sana Jayasuriya. And when she started scoring, I'll tell you an interesting story. When she started scoring and getting those big hundreds, some of our Sri Lankan fans were wanting her to play in the men's team. Well, that was made known once at a function, because that's how good she was. It was past the outside. That's the impact she has created. With no disrespect to the men, but what people felt was she could compete at that level.
What about now? They could do with her now.
I mean now, not then. Never meant then, I meant now. Plenty of power. See, that's the reason they think she should be playing in the men's 11, though she won't.
No, they wouldn't let her go from this Sri Lankan women's team. She's a great leader, she's great for the women's game, and she's got great power. That's the difference between her, that sets her apart. When you've got slower seamers, it can be difficult to create your own power. That's the thing that Chamari Athapaththu has in spades, and she also has the style. You just can't get it even slightly wrong against her. Too full on that occasion.
Good fielding, very good fielding.
Well, she's in with a chance to stamp her authority in the Women's Asia Cup, because she hasn't had a great time with the bat. Yes, she scored more than 3,000 runs in T20 internationals, but she hasn't had the best in Women's Asia Cup, and there's a chance now, because with those kind of strokes, she's dealing in boundaries, 3 boundaries in this score of 12. She's got a good start again. That's got through sloppy fielding. But when you do have that kind of a start, you've got to cash in. She'll come back for the second.
Certainly packs a lot of power. Very strong forearms as well.
I think as well she's got good competition with her opening partner. That's the kind of power that she has. Sends that one for 6. She was gone soon after that. Unfortunately, the home crowd didn't get to see their start. Hopefully on TV they'll get to see them. It's a hot day here, so not huge crowds in, but I'm sure a big following around Sri Lanka. But she's got good competition with her opening partner, and I think that's spurring her on later on in her career.
That's wide. That's a poor delivery from Aina. Yeah, about women's cricket, I'll tell you, there is a lot of interest now in Sri Lanka, particularly after this team started winning. Chamari Athapaththu has started to make them big. We've seen Vishmi, we now see Harshita, so plenty coming through.
And they were made to qualify for the World Cup this time around, despite the fact that they were ranked high enough, because Bangladesh, the home nation, and they did it with style. They did really well. They stamped their authority.
She's got a couple of hundreds. That's some serious feat there. I can tell you that. Scoring runs has not been easy. Not for India though. India has been a smashing form. The teams have struggled. Couple of hundreds for her, 10 50s. 5 times Sri Lanka has played the final, the Women's Asia Cup final. After the end of the 5th over, it's 27 for 1.
Chamari Athapaththu looking good. The early loss of Vishmi Gunaratna. She's joined by Harshita Samara Vikrama, but Malaysia will take some confidence from seeing the back of one of Sri Lanka's main batters. He is to now try and cause some more problems. Elisa for the first time today. And Marina Iqbal for the first time today.
Thanks, Ronak. That's one department where Malaysia needs to be on their toes, the fielding. And cannot allow easy singles or just misfields. It's helping Sri Lankan batters to settle down even more so. Scoring from 5.42 runs already.
Aisha Elisa. Wicket in the last game. Bowled economically. Everyone's kept on their toes in that Sri Lankan dugout. 4 changes as mentioned. Izzy Joyce pointing out how they like to keep the entire squad. It's running hot, getting game time. And she's got that through. You get value for your shots on this outfield here in Dambola. Chamari Athapaththu is taking responsibility after Gunaratne's wicket.
Smashed hard. That's exactly what you would expect. Into the surface though, but had enough leg to beat the infield and reach the boundary. Just trying to attack. He hasn't looked fluent, but getting his run.
Yeah, and final over of the power play this, so looking to maximize. That is through as well. The full ball is a gift for Chamari Athapaththu. She is driving all around Rambula now.
The best thing I like about Chamari is her stable pace. Yes, she has a lot of power in her wrist, but look at that. So steady. It was width allowed, head was stable. Just managed to put enough power behind that shot. Sliced it for another boundary. You were mentioning about the changes. I think they have the luxury to do that. Especially playing against Malaysia, you want your best 11 for the better opponents and also going to the business end. You need to check all your players.
And this is Chamari enjoying herself in being converted to a driving range. She's got the full ball, that's Lisa's way. 2,421 runs. An elite list that she's part of. She's elite herself. Meg Lanning, Charlotte Edwards, Harmanpreet Kaur, Chamari Athapaththu. Oh, they're just unable to stop balls coming straight to them. It's a highly productive over to finish the power play with 3 boundaries. Sri Lanka are now 41 for 1. Samara Vikrama on this occasion. She's raced on to 15. Toss that was won by Chamari Athapaththu, decided to bat first. Lost her partner Vishnu Gunaratne early. And then there were a few gifts. You could see how much they've enjoyed driving. That was the one standout slog. Otherwise, anything full, they've gone hard. More often than not, they've middled in 3 boundaries in the last over of the power play. Just made that score look a lot stronger. 8 fours, going at just under 7. Malaysia will have the option now to at least spread the field. Infield has been hit and miss at best. Salima Imtiaz from Pakistan confirms. And we have as many as 4 fielders outside right now. Oh dear. She's not got that right. It's another gift of a boundary and it'll be more. It's a no ball above waist height. They will have a free hit coming their way. So more problems for Malaysia.
First delivery, couldn't really land it. And on the receiving end was Chamari Athapaththu. She's well settled in to put those away. Over waist height, clearly, but utilized it to maximum.
Free it. I've seen that so often. It was a normal ball, should have probably middled it. She's disappointed, has a smile on her face.
Probably because you're ready to hammer it down rather than thinking, okay, I can time it as well to get the boundary.
It was there to hit as well, wasn't it? Just have the one fielder square on the leg side. At least there's some insurance now outside the power play.
It's always an encouraging thing for any side when different players are standing up to score. And for Sri Lanka, the other day it was Vishnumi. Today it's Chamari now getting that rhythm back.
Field remains the same for Samara Vikrama. Yeah, it's interesting that Malaysia have wanted to pitch the ball up and often gone wide. And they did manage to get the wicket of Vishnu Gunaratne, just not getting her drive right. By and large, listening to Athar Ali Khan at the pitch report too, with the pace that they bowl at, it's not a bad idea to just attack the stumps. Better. Still just outside off, so Samar Wickrama, good enough batter to just punch it, the gaps that there are on this field, but should rather ask questions of. They're here to support their team. That is a magnificent outfit. Jerseys, we need more of. Don't want more of those. Yeah, I think my one complaint T20 leagues around the world is the lack of creativity with jerseys. Have a look at those Malaysian fans. And I don't mind the Malaysian jersey either.
Neither would I. Lovely colours. Coming back to that point, I think there is a contrast when it comes to this pitch behaviour in the afternoon game and an evening game. I think in the afternoon it slightly stucks in. Comes on to your bat quite easily when the lights are on, but in the afternoon games we've seen that anything on a hard length or dropped shot just gets a little delay when it reaches to the batter. That's why I think Vishnu also got out.
Yeah, and that's the length, ideally. Just there, if you're trying to induce an error in terms of timing, been too full. Elegant little punch for a single to bring up 50 for Sri Lanka. That's the score for one. They're going nicely, in spite of the loss of Ashmi Gunaratne. Aiming high. Sri Lanka in this Asia Cup. Back in Sri Lanka after 16 years. Athapaththu hadn't debuted when it was last played here, the Women's Asia Cup in 2008. And how as she approaches the twilight of her career, she'd love to finish with at least one major trophy. And here comes Mahira Izzati Ismail. Bowled really well in the opening game against Thailand. Standout bowler, 3 for 16 of her 4. And she will attack the stumps. Likes to come around the wicket across the umpire to the left-hander, and that's how she'll start. Good start.
Yeah, that's good length. In flatter trajectory, you don't want to really toss it up to Chamari, especially within the stumps. But the best thing is they've got protection in one of her strength areas. And steep mid-wicket slightly.
And because she pushes it through like that, flatter trajectory, the fielders in the deep are all in front of square. Long on, long off, deep extra cover and deep mid-wicket. So you're inviting the batter to try and play across the line behind square. With that trajectory, it brings the bowled in LBW into play. That is one thing she cannot do though. Width, short, no one back there. Classy boundary again from Chamari.
Yeah, length wasn't that bad in terms of Chamari, but that line actually made her pay. Way outside off stump, easy picking. She's too good. Square off the wicket. Immense power behind that shot once again. Just stay within the wickets. Even with that length, I wouldn't mind it.
I would love to see her respond. She was so good, gave nothing away in odd boundary. She came back well. This has gone like a bullet. The fielder's done well to get as much of the body as she could behind the ball.
Reminding of a bullet. When they were in 50 over, there was silly mandatory catching. I was the one mostly posted there, and I remember one incident. Chamari was on strike. We've got one fast bowler, and I said to her, please don't pitch it up. And she said, don't worry, trust me, my teammate. And the next delivery, I couldn't see the ball. I just heard something go past by me. And it was one bounce 4, and it was Chamari, and I just gave that weirdest look. an anxious look to my teammate and bowler and said, "What are you doing? You want to get me killed?"
She just thought you'd have sharper reflexes, Marina. 56 for 1. Swabika's back. That's not the start that she wanted upon her return. Sri Lanka are dealing with boundaries. It's another one to start and over.
Malaysian bowlers, with their first deliveries in each over, they have just floated it. Probably trying to utilize that wind growing across the ground, but you need to pitch it and you need to hit the deck hard. These two batters, Harshita and Shamari, are way too good to put those away.
I was actually surprised that she didn't get more than the 2 overs in the last game. Got the ball to swing. Lovely wicket on debut that she'll remember. It's a good angle, testing angle. This ball is now into its 9th over. See, she's still getting the movement.
Even if she wants to be persistent, trying to make use of that wind, just try and start from around 5th stump so that it ends towards off stump or 4th stump probably.
Swabika, just 16 years of age, with Malaysia set to host the Under-19 Women's World Cup. Certainly one to watch out for. Swabika Manivanan has the ability to get some serious movement with the angle she creates, release, action as well. Almost unusual or unorthodox the way she loads up. Just keep an eye on her, especially the ball that's still tailing in to the left-handers. She falls over aggressively, and she was successful on debut in the last game against Thailand. Let's have a look at this. It's been watched many times on social media. Actually saw a great tweet by Abhishek Mukherjee, I think it was. He said it's like an EA Sports wicket. Viewers my age will remember that. Loading up. You can see Chamari is a little conscious of it. She's walked across to get out of the line, and she's so good that she's just flicked it into the gap for 4. Boundary to start and a boundary to finish the over. Sri Lanka race on, 65 for 1. Going to have to look for someone to just stop the flow of runs. Winifred Duraisingham bowls 2 at the top herself and comes back to finish the innings. But this is a key period now. 12 boundaries already in 9 overs. He's much happier than he's letting off with the start. I've lost count of the number of times an over has begun with the boundary. Not of the middle this time, but Sri Lanka will take it gladly.
And they all have bowled enough. I think with that first delivery and even the last one, these two are the most important deliveries of the over. And if you give away a boundary on your first one, the pressure is back on you. That's one area where Malaysia needs to tighten up their screws.
If you set out on paper the ideal template in a T20 batting innings, so we need a boundary and over. The game's changed from high percentage of dot balls to actually higher percentage of boundary count. Sri Lanka have done that masterfully. 13 boundaries, one in each of the last 6. Bowled, yorked, just squeezes it past Samaravikrama against the run of play. Mahira Izzati's smile provides Malaysia with a much needed breakthrough, and that is a nice way to bring up 50 wickets for her.
Harshita just trying to guide it, probably towards third. Was looking there, but it was too full to maneuver that. Got underneath the bat, straight onto the stumps, and she's delighted, and rightly so. Malaysia needed that breakthrough. Sri Lanka was on the rise, fist bumps, but they needed her to stay there for a longer time. Harshita Samravika gone on 26, Sri Lanka 2 down on 69.
It's a nice time for Malaysia to get a word in as the players take a break for drinks. Just lost their second wicket, and it's been an action-packed first 10. Boundaries galore. Yet Malaysia have managed to pick up a couple of wickets. They'll be delighted to have one just as drinks were taken. Rashmi Gunaratna once again. Swabika providing an early breakthrough. After that, some loose bowling that was punished by Samaravikrama and Chamari Athapaththu. Too many half volleys dished out, whether of the middle or not. And managed to get it through the infield at times, quite literally through the infielder. Change of pace when Mahira Izzati's smile, standout bowler from the last game, was given the ball. Took a few balls to get into it, then managed to dart one beneath the bat of Harshita Samaravikrama. Swabika and Mahira, the only two bowlers with a wicket, and the rest of them have been expensive so far. Wicket in last ball brings Anushka Sanjeevani to the middle. Confident way to start, but there is a fielder at deep cover. Wicketkeeper for Sri Lanka is in, 34 years of age, didn't bat in the last game. Well, the hopes in action in the afternoon, but the stakes are higher this evening. Bangladesh expected to win against Thailand, but yet without a win in 2024. Former champions, and Thailand, we know what they can do in this tournament. Semi-finalists last time round. quiet finish to the over. Malaysian fans would be thrilled with wicket cricket dangerous partnership. 64 that partnership between Chamari and Harshita.
Chamari is well settled and she needs to continue that momentum. Anushka probably just needs to tuck around.
Well, it's a productive ball if she can get it just a few inches lower. Shy of the stumps, no harm done. Halfway stage, 71 for 2 Sri Lanka.
Well, halfway stage, 71 for 2. Chamari Athapaththu is still out there, the captain. She'll be pleased. Generally, when she makes a start, she goes on to make a score. The home captain. Decent start so far, though, from Mahira. Not for 12 from 2 for her. She'll be happy with that. 2 wickets as well for Malaysia. And they've been full and straight. They've had rewards, so that's what they'll be telling themselves with ball in hand. It's the captain returning to Acingham with her seam.
It's a good start for Sri Lanka. They're going at a good rate. They're going at better than a runner ball. 71 for 2. The captain 38 of 33. They've lost 2 wickets, but they'll feel comfortable at this stage. It's a hot day. It's a good surface to bat. The outfield is fast. There is plenty of runs if you're willing to take your chance. Anushka has got a solitary half century in her career. But Malaysia has looked steady.
Well, they've tried their best, but don't forget the fact that Sri Lanka has posted 71 in the first 10 overs. So that's more than 7 runs in an over. You talk about home conditions, well, they know it better than anyone else. And it's the kind of start that the skipper, Chamari, would have hoped for. Remember, she hasn't had a great Women's Asia Cup, and she hasn't been in good touch, but certainly today, she looks to be in good mindset. She has picked up the deliveries that were meant to be hit, and she's also rotated that strike. 38 of 33, and she needs to go big here.
And she has gone big. And that is huge. She's been very good because she's hitting it with the breeze.
Well, earlier on we saw a shot like this when she hit a 4. It was within herself. I don't even think she's tried to hit that one too hard. It's pure style from Chamari Athapaththu. One of her big areas of strength. Get too full on her pads. Bottom hand comes through at the last minute to lift it over the boundary fielder. There was someone out there. She didn't have to worry. All the way over her head. 6 more.
Very good shot. Very, very good shot. Worked the angle, worked the movement, and she went over mid-wicket. Risk-free shot. And she's into her 40s at 129 and near 130 the strike rate, which is very good. For Malaysia, a side that needs a lot of exposure, needs to play a lot of cricket. They will struggle against good teams, but this is a really good learning curve. And this time, over the fielder. And that brings up a half century. 35 balls, 8 fours and 2 sixes.
Her first in the Women's Asia Cup T20s International. Yeah, take a bow. What a knock. What a shot to bring her 11th 50 in Women's T20 International. 3rd this year. The right kind of a start. And it's all about the skipper setting an example. What she wants to see from the rest of the team. This was pitched up. And it's really lent into it. And goes all the way. And just for a second, it looked like the player might have just got some part of the hand, but no. It went over and went for the maximum to bring up the 50. A smashing knock from the skipper.
Lovely moment, pointing to her team. She's been talking about them all tournament so far. It's not just her anymore. She's got 10 players in the team behind her, 4 as well on the sideline that don't get to play in this game. She's appreciating them.
Very sensible cricket here. It's not about sixers, it's not about fours, they're also singles. Big over, 85 for 2. Current rate, they're going at 150, they'll get to 155, which will be a very good score. At 10 and over will be 175. Chamari Athapaththu 51 of 37, 8 fours and 2 sixes. From round the wicket.
That's 44 runs in boundaries. 8 fours and 2 sixes. Or the score of 51. She's dealing in boundaries, enjoying herself in the middle, enjoying the way ball is coming onto the bat. Again, off the back foot, cracks it through that fielder. Will have no chance whatsoever to stop that one. Another one for Chamari.
We talk about the power of Chamari Athapaththu. Her balance as she's hitting this shot is just incredible. Backs away and hits this one with her balance on her back foot. Look, her front foot off the ground. It's not an easy skill. You have to have good strength to do that, especially to get your hands through. It's forward of point. And she looks so strong at the crease now. Looked a little bit nervous early on. Once she gets going, well, this could be ominous for Malaysia. They're looking to just bolster the offside. 3 fielders now, 1 just in front of point, 1 just behind, and a short third as well. Extra cover on the boundary, so she's going to have to bowl outside off stump.
So you could see the value she brings into the Sri Lankan side. Besides being experienced, she can be very good as a bowler, as a batter, more as a batter, but she would come on and bowl a few cheap overs of off spin. She's led the side well. The thing is, when she gets in, she can be very destructive. At the moment, 55 of 40, and she shows good technique. Her shot selection is very good and very sound technique.
Yeah, she looks organized. She looks very organized. Picks up the right length. She has played some defensive shots too. Looks technically very, very correct. But she's certainly, when she looks to pick a boundary, she looks so good. Picking up the gaps and then hitting it from the middle part of the bat. Sweet timing so far.
Sri Lankan wicketkeeper batter Anushka. Quite experienced right-hander. Just a solitary half-century in her career. Been playing for a long time.
I think she's been promoted because if they lose those 2 early wickets, she's a little bit more measured. If they go a bit longer, Sri Lanka, without losing those wickets, then they send in the more expansive players. So she's someone who moves up and down the order. That's probably why we haven't seen her score more 50s. But great to have that type of utility player in your team.
Straight to the fielder, straight to the fielder. 91 for 2. Chamari Athapaththu, wonderful innings. Open the batting, has been very destructive, very powerful, not just on the offside. She's hit some really big sixes too. Her scoring areas are over mid wicket. Loves to go square the wicket as well. What an innings from the Sri Lankan left-hander, the captain. 56 of 42. Dealing in boundaries, 9 fours and 2 sixes.
Yeah, I'm just wondering whether that ball which was hit to the fielder was at a catchable height. Did it hit straight into the hands? Was that a drop chance? Because if it was, then it would be a big one. Because the batter was Chamari Athapaththu, again off the back foot on the shorter side in terms of the length. And he's picked up another boundary. Lovely touch. This time from Anushka.
Well, she got into position really early. That was the key. And her focus was getting it forward of the fielder in the deep. She missed the extra cover fielder. Great power through the offside. Well, not only Chamari Athapaththu with the power, Sanjuani getting in on the act.
So you got to understand that some of these cricketers never started from school level. These Sri Lankan ladies. Well, I think her cap flew off, so that's why she didn't play it. Now let's take a look on the point Athar Ali Khan was trying to make here. Was it a catch? Oh no, in fact this is a 6. This is the 6, but we'll try and show you that catch we were talking about. This is the 6 that went to mid-wicket. The last ball of the previous over. We'll show you after this ball. She's struggling with the breeze, I think. Right here, let's see. Let's see. Is this a chance? Is this a chance? Yes, definitely. Well spotted, Athar. Well done.
Now they need to understand, Malaysia, they're up against a quality team. High quality team. You've already seen India in a smashing form. And if you see that drop catch, it's not an easy one because just going away from the fielder. But that is a chance. And that came from the bat of Chamari Athapaththu. That should have been taken. That is a big miss.
Well, the wrong technique, the hands the wrong way around. Needed to go the other way. And the other thing to take into account, that replay doesn't show you how quickly that ball was coming. Chamari Athapaththu hits it as hard as anyone in the women's game. So these Malaysia girls, have they been getting the ball hit at them like that in training? I doubt it. It's very hard to practice that. You only get that experience out in the middle.
Talking about being hit hard, that's exactly what Chamari Athapaththu does. 1 bounce 4. She's a powerful striker. And that is a demonstration of her power as the 100's up.
Yeah, you talk about 100, she has 2 T20 international 100s. And the way she's going, and if she goes the same way in the next 4 or 5 overs, I can tell you one thing, that 100 would be, the third one will be in her mind. Yes, it's a really good one. 100 for 2 in the 13th over.
Another one, that's a poor delivery. That is a really poor delivery. She is picking her spots and she's enjoying herself.
As a bowler, when your better ball goes for 4, things start to fall apart rapidly, and they are falling apart here. Down the leg side, clears the front leg and has some of the best hands in the game. Chamari Athapaththu helps herself. Vacant area there, yet another 4 off the bat.
Yeah, the partnership now 35 of just 20 deliveries. And out of that 35 runs, only 8 from Anushka. The rest from the skipper.
See, Malaysian cricketers, you've got to understand, we've spoken about the exposure that they lack and the exposure they're yearning to have. So they come here, they play in events like this. Well, we spoke about this. You spoke about this, Isabel, the wrong technique that you're talking about, which is true. But then again, they learn. This will be a good learning curve. They learn through their mistakes, but they need to improve. That's the key.
Well, the good point is they changed the field. She'd just been brought in there. Well, single to close out the last ball there. That'll be a relief for the bowler. 13 overs gone, Sri Lanka 106 for 2.
The partnerships are good after that first wicket was lost rather cheaply. They've been coming in quick time. There goes the sweep, sweeping it from the stumps. This is an off spinner from over the wicket. I'm not sure whether she's bowling from the right end because there is a very strong cross breeze. So she'll be drifting onto the pad, and if she gets turned, she'll be spinning down the leg side as well.
Yeah, for the right-hander, because there is left-hand, right-hand combination in the middle. So if the left-hander is on strike, then she has to go against the wind direction that you're talking about. And that's the challenge. You got to make sure that when the right-hander is there, you don't give her an opportunity to free her arms. Just keep her quiet, just like the first two deliveries that she has bowled in this over.
Yeah, you're right. So she needs to be tight against the right-hander. That's a better line to bowl. But that's 4. See, the point is there aren't enough protection. I'm not sure whether this is the right field. You've got a packed offside field. You've got 5 on the off. And there's a strong cross breeze as well.
And also talking about the strengths of the batters, Sanjuani clearly wants to sweep. If you're going to bowl in at leg stump, put the square leg out, maybe bring your mid off in. Bowl into the pads, 3 out on the leg side, and then you shouldn't go for any boundaries. You can't afford to be going for boundaries off from Anushka. Chamari's helping herself. You need to put the pressure on the newer batter.
She's got a deep mid-wicket and a long on. Where is the square leg? Oh, that's friendly. That's friendly. Could be trouble now. That's a little bit untidy, I must say.
Bit of a stutter there. Yes, there, yes, in the end, no damage done. Now the left-hander is on strike, but it was not a bad delivery that was put away to the boundary in this over. It's a very good shot. If you have the time, we'll show you that shot that went to the boundary. Better. Yeah, keep it tight, keep it close. Stump to stump is the key for the bowler, especially in these kind of... Let's have a look at this. Where was it pitched? So keep a close eye. Look how far that is outside the off stump. That's a terrific shot. Because of the length, she picked it up nicely, and she's lucky because she's hit it over the top of that fielder.
Certainly, I agree with you. That's where I think the captain needs to give the right field. No square leg. So I love the boundary. 111 for 2. That's some really big buildings in the Sri Lankan innings. They're starting to fire. That's a good blend, isn't it? They've got some sky risers, they've got some normal ones, but generally, progressively, it's starting to get bigger. They are going at a good rate, at a healthy rate at the moment. Athapaththu striking at a near 140. Anushka at a near 130, 111 for 2 in 14 overs.
Yeah, last 4 overs have been fruitful for Sri Lanka. 40 runs have been scored in the last 4 overs. It's been great going from Sri Lanka. Partnership now worth 42 of just 28 deliveries. And all of a sudden, Anushka is also looking to pick a boundary. She's also has picked up 2 now.
Over extra cover. Only a single. But again, you could see that they're going wide and full, which is not a bad ploy. Go wide and full, but get the field. You need to have your fielders in the right place. I like the deep cover. I like there is no deep third. It's bringing the deep third to now with the left-hander on strike. The field changes. So Avisha Dilhari is in next at 5. Nilakshika, she can wheel the bat. Athapaththu looking to create some pace. Loves to come down the pitch. Loves pace on the ball.
Well, just thinking about that batting lineup again, for me, having watched Sri Lanka through the years, it's something they lacked was a bit of depth in their batting lineup. They now have the likes of Dilhari and De Silva, who can be held back a little bit later than perhaps they would have before. And that's really an added thing that Sri Lanka have now these days. Good ball. Really good ball there to Chamari Athapaththu, keeping her quiet, but we've had a change in the team, but we haven't had a change in the middle order. Padded up, Dilhari and De Silva in at 5 and 6. Very inventive batters, run well between the wickets, and then we have some of the newer players that are coming in that might get a chance later on.
She goes again. She will pick the gap. That's the angle she waits for. She waits for the ball to angle in onto the pads.
He's hardly missed anything. What has been an offer to put that away for a boundary. Yes, once again. Leg side has been a very fruitful one for Chamari Athapaththu. A nice round of applause from the dugout. She's going great guns.
That's a wide, that's a wide. In fact, not given. Is that down the leg side? Should it be a wide? Did it brush the pad? Felt that it was going down the leg side.
Well, Chamari Athapaththu didn't look too disappointed, so I think that's an indication maybe it just clipped, yeah, just a little bit feather on the pad. Bit of luck goes the bowler's way.
15 done, 116 for 2.
Semi-final on the line for Bangladesh. Thailand, what a story it would be to make it to the semis in successive editions. That's later this evening. For now, Swabika asks the question. Angle to the right-hander. Umpire has to judge where that ball is pitched. But as we enter the final 5 now, Sri Lanka could well get somewhere close to what India got yesterday. Marina Iqbal is back with me.
They were adamant with the appeal. Just pushing outside leg. Good decision.
That's in the gap. No one back there. Flurry of boundaries continues. 15th 4 of the innings, a third for Anushka Sanjeevani.
Yeah, even with that angle, I'm not sure with having 2 fielders inside the circle towards square. Short square leg, short fine leg. It's always going to come back in, probably on the pads, and it's easy to put it away when there's no one protecting that boundary. Now they've put the short square leg to the boundary.
Boundary also bringing up the 50 of the partnership in really good time. 51 of 35 balls. 52 now, 37.
Just the previous delivery wasn't a wise delivery from Swabika. They have protection towards the onside. Everyone in the offside is in ring. You cannot go outside off.
Keeper is interested, asks the question of Salima Imtiaz, and she goes upstairs.
I'm not sure about the shot selection. Everyone is in the ring. When you look at that offside field, it was way outside off stump. Anushka trying to drag it into the leg. trying to reach for it. That's why she got imbalanced.
Chamari takes a head start. Doesn't need to. She's back in time. Well, she's a wicketkeeper herself. I think that foot is nicely grounded. It's a good take. Swing bowler that gets it to move. But Anushka did well to get the foot back in time.
Yeah, that's why the trainers push players to do those lunges.
Julia got runs in the last game herself. She'll have a huge role to play. Great experience for Malaysia to play Sri Lanka, of course. And that to this Sri Lankan team. So high on confidence, at the peak of their powers. Wonderful year in international cricket already. Unprecedented success. And looking for a big score here. She had about 3 shots in mind. In the end, she just gets the single. And she knows what the first thought was. Bailed out of it.
Yeah, not trying to exploit that offside option. Went for it, but again, the line wasn't there, even the length. I don't mind this line and length. Within the stumps with this sort of field can contain boundaries.
Slowed it up, Swabika. Yeah, she's still laughing about what she had in mind. Just have a look. At this stage, I'm going to play the reverse. No, I'm going to whack it. No, ball's here. Just get bat. 1, 2, 3. It's twisted that bat like a sword in her hand. Chamari's been putting the bowler through the sword. And there's another. Into the 70s goes Chamari Athapaththu with her 13th boundary.
She's crafted that shot. Wasn't much pace on offer. Shuffles across to exploit that area. Both fielders were inside the ring. Just needed to beat them. She has struggled against slow-paced bowlers. At times she needs to stand out of the crease or probably shuffle within the crease.
And the big shot is on every ball now with the foundation Sri Lanka have laid, and Chamari Athapaththu is only thinking about that. Milestones don't matter. The way she got to 50 back-to-back sixes. He just wants to maximize these remaining balls now. 1, 2, 8 for 2. Ten and over gets them to 168. Dare I say they're in line for more. India got in excess of 200. First time that the Indian teams managed that in T20I cricket. So too in this competition by any team. Here's Elisa. They'll need more of that. Right into the block hole, and there's nothing much you can do with those, even if you're 75 or 56. Might want to replace that bat that's worked so well for her.
You players are really superstitious about having a match bat, perfect bat. At times they keep the practice bats separate, don't want to mess those match bats.
Slashed away, work for the fielder in the deep. Does well to keep it to 2. Lots of open space there.
What Malaysian bowlers are doing well now are they are not allowing any pace whatsoever, even to Chamari. That's very important, but also to Anushka as well. So they have to put that muscle into the shots to get those boundaries.
What are the Raisimans' bowling options? She will certainly bowl one of the remaining 3. Swabika's bowled out. Mahira has bowled out. slightly untidy, but not cost Malaysia much. Trying to force the issue, Chamari Athapaththu. It's now so well set. As Orion seeing the ball so well, to literally stand and deliver. Has the power, we've seen that already.
I've got all the respect of the world for that guy under that mascot in this immense heat. He's out there cheering for his team.
He's got his own indoor air conditioning inside there.
Taking pace off. That has done work for Malaysia, especially in these death overs when Chamari and Anushka are trying to accelerate and reach to bigger target. There you go. Just rolling the fingers.
Well, amidst an onslaught, that is an excellent over from Elisa. Without a boundary, she concedes 6 off it, 1-3-4 for 2. Three overs to go. Batters well set. Anushka Sanjeevani, 24 of 19, striking at 126, 3 fours for her. Chamari Athapaththu faces about 10 or 12 balls of the remaining 18. Very well be on course for a third international 100 in T20 cricket.
Had a word with her, Chamari Athapaththu, the other day after their first win, and she knew that he has to make an impact. And I said, yeah, I'm looking forward to a big knock from you. He's on 76. Would love to reach those 3 digits.
Again, only a single. Yeah, and it's nice to see that she's just broken that unnecessary record that it's hard to explain why Chamari Athapaththu has not had returns in the Women's Asia Cup. That's perhaps the reason that they've gone to the final 5 times, but their main batters not delivered for reasons best known, but that's all in the past. It's not bothered her. This is her at her very best.
One of the reasons I understand is she likes to whack it. She's got a quick bat speed. With slower bowlers, she struggles.
Slightly lucky, but she's earned her luck today as she marches into the 80s, does Sri Lanka's captain.
Creating some room, trying to go towards that extra cover area. Well, she earned a boundary. Doesn't matter wherever it's coming from.
Yeah, Malaysia would really hope they were allowed about 17 fielders today. Chamari Athapaththu has shown no mercy. It's good bowling. She saw Chamari eye the leg side, went wide, produced a false shot. Majestic! 6, number 3, as Chamari Athapaththu is now Sri Lanka's highest individual scorer in the Women's Asia Cup.
Fireworks are on the rise from Chamari Athapaththu. That's her signature shot. Just clears the front leg. Solid base. That's where the power generates. And a full swing of the bat. As clean as a whistle.
Where next? Where next, Chamari? shot, Chamari. Into the 90s you go. Malaysia being shown no mercy.
He's well settled in. Picked up the length and line early. Into her zone actually. Again that front leg clear so that the arms can come through. And that's really important. That's also her signature shot. Look at the ease with which she hits.
4-6-6. Bowler under serious pressure. 2 balls to go. My God, the sound the bat is making. She hits it.
Just look at that front leg. She's trying to clear it so that she can free her arms and generate that power. There is no hurdle for that extended arms and full flow of the bat. That's where the generation of power comes.
Yeah, she's just bullied the bowling today. Anushka has a free hit here effectively. And she goes down the ground as well, does not get the connection. While Sri Lanka would love for Chamari to face every ball, she'll be off strike for now. 19 of the 18th, 153 for 2. Well, Chamari Athapaththu has batted right through the innings. And she's 4 short now of Mithali Raj's 97, the 2018 edition. This is, of course, in the history of the Women's Asia Cup, and poor Malaysia have been at the receiving end of both of those innings.
Yeah, much talk was going around why Chamari Athapaththu hasn't scored big in Asia Cups. Well, this afternoon, she has an answer for every question.
Batters on the ground, ball is beyond the boundary. Anushka joins the party.
That is some serious innovation. Why stay behind? Look at that huge shuffle towards the offside. It was way outside off them, was actually bowled well. But she went on to execute that shot. All she needed to do was that beat that infield. Both are joining the party now.
We just have no answers. Elisa bowled a good last over. Hasn't got all of it. The result is that Chamari Athapaththu is on strike.
Yeah, no one would mind that, except for Malaysia, of course.
She was looking for the gap. Didn't go for power this time. It's a long boundary, so at least she's back on strike. A couple of full tosses have worked out well for Elisa.
Yeah, it was dipping. Probably that's why Chamari didn't opt to go aerial. She did, but not over the boundary. Didn't hit it hard. It's hard to put those away.
What a way to go to 100! A century of the highest quality from an all-time great at home. Her first 100 in Sri Lanka. The first 100 in the Women's Asia Cup by anybody. And a third in T20 eyes for Chamari Athapaththu.
Chamari Athapaththu has put everyone on silence with this performance. There were a lot of questions why she can't hit big in the Asia Cup. Here it is, bringing it up in style with a maximum at home. And there you go. It's been an exceptional knock this afternoon.
And she's not done. That is number 6 of the bat of Athapaththu.
Malaysia definitely has no answers how to bowl at her. She's changed her gears clearly. The stance, look at that stance, the solid base, immense power behind each and every shot, sailing over the boundary.
Malaysia, it's almost over. But Chamari is back on strike, 173 for 2. Well, they've been in awe of their captain today, as they should be. The greats of her generation, missing that jewel of major tournament title. Kind of form she started the tournament win. She'll have tougher opposition, no doubt, going forward. But for now, here's her opposite number to close out the innings. That's gone higher than longer. Fielder just didn't pick it up early enough. Was in the air for a long time. The straight boundaries are shorter here at Dambulla. I think Malaysia are just waiting for this to end, and Chamari is now on 110, 3 short of her highest score in T20Is. How far? Oh, they've given it everything, Malaysia. It's 2 twos to start the final over. Chamari moves to 112. Score just solidifies further, 177 and counting.
Yeah, Winifred Duraisingham is trying to keep the ball away from Chamari. No pace whatsoever. Just forcing us to craft and go for that maximum.
Highest score in T20Is for Chamari Athapaththu. We can't stop looking at her. Now she's hitting 6s without looking.
That's just the second nature to Chamari Athapaththu. In her zone, if you ball there, she'll take you over. Yeah, she knew exactly when the ball left the bat that it's going, it's sailing over the boundary for another maximum. 7 now.
Not going to go all the way. She'll have a few seconds for it to sink in just how well she's batted, how sweetly she's hit the ball. And I say sweetly, it sounds sweet. It's ruthless on the ball.
Don't forget, Dhanushari dropped Chamari on 56. That will hurt Malaysia. And she might be thinking, had I tried it a little bit more, with more commitment, maybe they could have stopped Sri Lanka not around this total.
Yes. Oh, bold. Simple, small pleasure for Duraisingham on what's been a tough day for her and her side. She has a wicket. Anushka Sanjeevani, partner Chamari Athapaththu for a large part of the innings. She has now been dismissed.
Yeah, just going across the stumps, trying to be cheeky in a waiting, but it was too full to get that shot going on. Bit of a relief for Malaysia. Anushka Sanjeevani gone on 31, Sri Lanka 3 down on 184.
Kavisha Dilari has 1 ball as the partnership of 115 has been broken. Final ball of the innings, Duraisingham. 2 and 2. Something to celebrate for Winifred Duraisingham. But this innings has been about the batter at the other end. Chamari Athapaththu bats through the innings, has dominated this innings. has given her home crowd plenty to celebrate. With her highest score registered, she finishes 119 of 69 balls. An innings decorated with 14 fours and 7 sixes. And she showed absolutely no mercy to Malaysia. Cleared the boundary with ridiculous ease. She was helped with some loose bowling, but taking nothing away from her. That is top class from a world-class batter as Sri Lanka finish with a powerful 184 for 4. Received the standing ovation. Players, coach, even Roshan Singh. 119, dominating that innings. She's the standout batter there. She lost Vishmi Gunaratne early, didn't matter. Hell for leather. She's managed to give her side a huge score after winning the toss and batting first. Quiet contributions from Samara Vikram and Sanjeevani. They played their part. This innings has been all about Chamari Athapaththu.
Yeah, that huge partnership, 115. Courtesy to Chamari's attacking cricket has put Sri Lanka in a very solid position. But don't forget that partnership between Chamari and Harshita as well, 64 of 54. That's actually where the momentum was set. And then Chamari exploited that.
Scored 81 of those 115 in that partnership with Chamari Athapaththu. Hard work for Malaysia. They will learn from this experience, but it was a harsh lesson. Wickets for Durai Singham of her last 2 balls. And Swabika with an early wicket. After that, it was all Sri Lanka. It was all Chamari Athapaththu. Let's go down to Roshan Singh.
Ramesh, thank you for joining us. Well, let me first and foremost tell you that Sri Lanka has progressed brilliantly under you. What has been the secret?
That's a hard one for me to answer. I think you have to ask the girls. The trusting of the processes, I mean, very easy to sort of say we have had a good environment and we trusted our processes, and I've encouraged them to trust their processes. We brought them to other levels by doing various innovative things, and that has certainly helped. You can see the fruit of it now. And well, if you have won and if you have done well, it's to that.
Yeah, people talk about the freedom that the players have now. So is there anything that you have done, especially regarding the freedom?
Yeah, it's no point me arranging the environment and asking them to trust in the processes and not letting them have the freedom. You know, so I mean, they are not scared to get out. They are not scared to miss a catch. They are not scared to bowl a bad ball. So I've gone that way, and that has proved immense, and it has come off really well.
When you look at the young players coming through, do you think that there is a good plan to try and identify them?
Well, there is a good plan. I think the board has taken the initiative of having it grow in the rural areas, and I'm very happy with that. But I think quality have to be induced in those little areas also. The best coaches have to go into those places, and I believe that the growth is immense in women's cricket, and you can grow them immensely. Unlike in the men's format, you can sort of work on so many things and let them grow by itself.
Now, Chamari Athapaththu got a magnificent 100, but we all know that she's nearing almost the end. How concerned are you? Are there any emerging players coming through?
Well, we like to have her for the next 4 years if possible, and we try to manage her as much as we can. Because in women's cricket, I don't think age is a barrier like in men's cricket, because in men, you start at the age of 10 and you go on with heavy cricket throughout the processes of the schools and all that. But I think saying that, that's our challenge, to make sure that there are other batters, and we have to take the initiative of making them as good as possible, and like the Vishmis, like the Harshitas, I mean, there are so many others in the team, Kavishas and all of them, and we have to equip them to be as good as Chamari one day.
Ramesh, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
Terrific insight from Ramesh Ratnaike, Sri Lanka's head coach. And they'd love to have her for 4 years or more. Vishmi Gunaratne is one to watch out. She was outstanding the other night. Today it was her opening partner and captain. Chamari Athapaththu Didn't stop her the fact that she lost Vishmi early. Went hard in the power play. Had enough half volleys that she had to punish, and she did. Sometimes assisted by errors in the field, errors in length. Satvi Ismail, the stand-up bowler, also was spared. And, got support in the form of Harshita Samaravikrama, whose innings finished when Satvi Ismail got one to just dip at the last second, yorked the batter. And Chamari just carried on in her destructive Merry May. Wonderful innings, acknowledges the crowd and her teammates who just stood in amazement. Powered her way through that innings. Anushka Sanjeevani joined her. Got a hit for the first time in this Women's Asia Cup. Didn't bat in the previous game. But her first 15, 35 balls to Chamari Athapaththu and just powered along to get her next 15, 28. Sanjeevani did well. It was just runs all over the ground, many times over the boundary. Been treated to 7 sixes, one better than the other. Sanjeevani had some fun as well. Just the distance she got, the distance that she's made in her already illustrious career. She has been one special player for many, many years, Chamari Athapaththu, and she still has plenty to offer, as Ramesh Ratnaik has said. Couple of wickets for Dry Singham, Malaysian captain, to finish things off. Sri Lanka finish with 184, which means Malaysia will need 185. Home side are favourites. Malaysia will give this their best, and the run chase is coming up very shortly here in Dambulla.
Welcome back. We've just seen a truly magnificent innings by Chamari Athapaththu. She certainly propelled Sri Lanka to 184 for 4 in 20 overs. Her first 100 in Asia Cup and the first ever Asia Cup 100 this season. And what a magnificent innings. 119 of 69 balls. Good support at the back. Well, I'm afraid the Malaysian bowlers struggled a lot and quite a few runs conceded. And that, I would put it down to inexperience. But now it is going to be a real big challenge, Isabel, for the Malaysian batters. How do you think they'll set about trying to get close to this 184?
Well, the question is, do they try and chase 184? Have they decided they're going to go for the win? Do they maybe look to see what can we get against Sri Lanka? What if we'd kept them to 130, would we have been able to win the game? Do they readjust their thinking? They'll need their captain to perform. 69 matches, 1,057 to her name. She needs to score big, but the other person they'll rely on is, of course, the other opener, Wan Julia. 52 from 53 for her. She was the top scorer for Malaysia the last time out. Winnie 22 from 28. She'll need to score at a much better rate than that if they're going to win this game.
Yeah, it is going to be a tough ask. It is a mountain to climb as far as Malaysia is concerned. Kavindi, just 21 years. She's played 9 games. Quite inexperienced. Straight away strikes the pad. But Sri Lanka, I tell you, has a good blend. There is experience. Sri Lanka's policy, we spoke about those 4 changes, is to try and test the bench strength as much as possible. And also, the batting looks reasonably experienced with those young cricketers coming through.
Well, they've brought in four players. This is one of them. Kavindi has been given the new ball. We're so used to seeing a different bowler, left arm seamer, Prabhadani, but it's a new look Sri Lanka team out today. And a good looking shape across. You can see why the captain's put herself in slip. They're definitely planning for the future, and that's really good forward thinking from Sri Lanka. They know that they can't have their captain out there forever. Who's going to be the next one? And the other older player is Prabhadani, left arm seamer, who often opens the bowling and closes it out. Who's going to be the next one that's going to take up the reins? So they're really thinking ahead by bringing in these youngsters.
Yeah, that's the Sri Lankan lady selectors watching the game. That's a poor return. But just look at Kavindi's action. She's got a nice action, nice run up. And a very, very strong action at the crease. These are the selectors we're talking about. It's good to see them coming and watching cricket and keeping a close eye on the up and coming young cricketers, because there's so much cricket left. I like this action. Nice follow through as well, and Sheikh gets through. The captain, Kavindi, gets a wicket, and Malaysia are 0 for 1.
Excellent action, excellent shape. Gets the ball to swing and then goes back through. Well, that's the first one we haven't seen move away from the right-hander. There's a gap. That's the problem for Wan Julia. You can't afford a gap between your bat and pad when the bowling's on the mark like we've seen. So she comes into the team, takes the first wicket. Fortunately, Durasingham, the captain, 0 from 4. Malaysia lose their first without scoring, 0 for 1.
Elsa Hunter. This is a big name in Malaysian cricket. Keep an eye on Kavindi. I like that action. I like that follow through. Really strong follow through.
An excellent action to support the swing away. You need this kind of action if you want to stand the seam up. Really tall in her action. Yeah, and manages to get off the pitch as well, which is important. Because when you follow through that well, sometimes you can find yourself in trouble with the second step, but she does well. Great joy for her as well.
Last ball of the over. It's been a very good first over. Yeah, that's optimistic. They get a single off the last ball. Malaysia at the end of the first over. 52. 1 for 1. Right, we're going to see Inoshi, the off spinner. Sri Lanka thinking out of the box. They started with a seam bowler. Now the 37-year-old Inoshi Priyadarshini, 28 games, 32 wickets. Good economy. Average of 14. Well, one thing about her was that bottom goal she had against Bangladesh. That was just stunning.
Well, when you get to see this again, you have to watch right up until the end, especially the view from the stump mic. She has a little smile on her face after she takes the catch. Starts with a wide one there, but too full to go on the back foot. It's more like what you're used to seeing from her. Doesn't really turn the ball a lot. Plays with the crease. She can go wide. She sometimes comes a little bit closer. Often bowls a lot of arm balls away from the right-hander. That's why you'll see Chamari Athapaththu in slip. She thinks she's a chance for a catch there.
I'm someone who is a little bit old-fashioned. So I would have preferred a couple of runs. I would have preferred to see her bowling from the other end with two right-handers in. Because, well, now, before we talk about it, we spoke about the catchers. What about this? Now take a look at this. Look at the reaction. Very instinctive. What a marvelous cotton bowl. The reaction time, very, very little. Maybe 1 second.
Well, the key there is that after you let go of the ball, being in a position that you actually can make that movement. If you're not in the right position, there's no chance of sticking the hand out. She's an experienced spin bowler, so she finishes her action, gets front on, gives herself every chance.
Yeah, you're right, but just to continue or finish on the point I was making, because there's so much breeze, she could use the drift. Even if she doesn't spin, if she's sliding it, it will be great against the right-hander because she'll be finding those outside edges. Here, she's bowling to a strong cross breeze. This is the action we're talking about. It's very important as a spinner. It's a nice sideways, a nice finish, as you said. She finishes it well. See, this could happen because see, the breeze can drift it down the leg side, and then with the turn, gives the batter the option of getting a boundary. They finish well, Malaysia, 7 for 1. On Julia, she's the one who got a good half century in that opening game. Batted well. Wicket-keeper batter for Malaysia. And this is Kavindi. Very, very impressive so far.
Well, you talked about the ball drifting down the leg side. That's exactly what happened in the final delivery of that last over. Good wherewithal as well from Elsa Hunter to get down on the knee. Helped it into a vacant area behind square. So the first boundary in the innings, something that Malaysia will have been waiting for.
Is that drifting down the leg side? Is that drifting down the leg side? If not, that was pretty close because it was full. It was aimed at the leg stump.
On first look, it did look like it was just creeping down the leg side. Yeah, you can see almost all three stumps. It's usually a good indication for the umpire. So really good decision. That's something to worry about. No foot movement there from Julia.
How about this? How about this? And why not? I thought the height was right. And the line was right.
The good thing for us is we get to see a second time. Not the right shot. It wasn't short enough. Not great foot movement. I think it might have just been bouncing over the top.
I know, it's not easy. I mean, we have the benefit of a slow-mo. That's a decision they got to make almost in a matter of few seconds, so it's not easy. It's asking for a lot from an umpire. But to me, that looked all right.
We know it's a batter's game. Any doubt for the umpire and you tend to survive. You'd rather it that way, I think, because the batters only get one chance. As bowlers, we used to get hit for 6, you can get them out the next ball. She's managed to scamper down the other end. Have a breather, have a think.
I like the way Elsa Hunter is moving into nice positions, nice stride out. She looks a proper bat to me. This is Julia's innings. Julia was very good in that last game, a very fine fighting half-century. Big striker on the ball, but she's good with her timing, deft touches. Very useful half-century to Malaysia. Oh, what a shot that is! What a shot! 1 bounce for 4. This is Elsa Hunter.
Well, she only made 1 in the previous game, and that was a disappointment for her. She puts a lot of pressure on herself. She'll be delighted with that boundary. Picked it up so nicely off the legs. 3 overs gone, 12 for 1.
For 1. Now you need to take a look at this shot from Elsa Hunter. This is a great shot. Picked up, strong wrist, worked the angle, 1 bounce for 4.
What I love is the head position. So important when the ball's on leg stump that you can get your head in front of your pad so you can access the ball before it reaches you. She's also able to hit it early to get the elevation, and the wrists just finished it off.
Great to see the support. Well, they've flown in specially. And really nice to see fans supporting and following teams. It's not about winning or losing, but it's about the encouragement. And you feel proud when you have a group following you and cheering you on. Little chip, not good fielding. They'll come back for 2.
Shashini Yamani won't be happy. The new bowler on, bowling inside the power play, never easy as a wrist spinner. You've got a left arm wrist spinner here. Not a good delivery, and it's unusual, a misfield from Dilhari. She's one of the best fielders in this really good unit here we have in Sri Lanka. Short one goes through, well, went across the line, just didn't bounce. Probably not the shot to play early on. Needed to take a look. The new bowler, the youngster, comes on, just 15 years of age, and she makes the breakthrough, the second one for the Malaysian lineup. And it was Julia, their main striker, who's been dismissed.
I always believe that wrist spinners can be very useful. They're wicket-taking options. They can go for runs, but they can get you. And this is what we see here. Rushed her. And Julia, we've spoken so highly of her. Very unfortunate, out for 3. Malaysia 14 for 2. Mahira, Ismail is a new batter. Oh, well bowled. See, the key here is the speed she bowls. The speed is very important. She's only 15.
Well, it was short, but the speed, as you say, was there. Just skidded through. Didn't give Julia any time to think about playing a straight batted shot. And the new batters learned from the mistake, thinking about playing with a straight bat, despite the fact that that one dropped a little bit short. But the speed is really good, and she's not really turning the ball from left to right as you'd expect, really just over the top of the ball, which helps it to skid on as well.
Now she'll provide deliveries like this. only a single. But an excellent over. 3 runs and a wicket, 15 for 2 at the end of 4. And plenty top games coming up. And what about this? Pakistan versus UAE. That's the first game. Starting at 1:30 p.m. We'll be on air local time from Dabulla. Pakistan, another powerhouse of Asian cricket. And then the next one. As you know, we got double headers, and look who's here. It's India versus Nepal. That game, we're live at 6:30 local time. And again from the Rangiri Dambulu Stadium. 2 really big games coming up. 2 powerhouses of Asia playing. Pakistan, India. Different games, but you'll see them in action.
Kavindi getting the 3rd over. Captain's pleased with what she's seen so far. Good to see those selectors are here because you've got 4 players coming in. You have quite a settled team. Here's one of the people who've come in, and it's just missed off stump, I'd say. I'd love to see if that went over, because that would be an indication from that LBW decision whether that was going over or just clipping the bails.
See, obviously Sri Lankan selectors, the coach, the management will attempt to understand each player's strength. Oh, this is lovely, isn't it? This is really nice to have them here. They just realized that they're on the giant screen, and they continue to see that. And yeah, it's important that they are here. And as you said, they are keeping an eye on some of these emerging players. That's a wide. So, see, when you play against teams like Malaysia, with all due respect, and what about her? Surely the future.
The next Chamari Athapaththu. She's here already in training. They start them young here in Sri Lanka. She started young, she's kept going. How long can Chamari Athapaththu keep scoring runs for Sri Lanka? Forever, you hope?
I won't be surprised if cricket fanatic mothers start calling their girls, newborn girls, Chamari. And that's because you see her play like this.
Well, she was in imperious form. So much style when you watch Chamari Athapaththu. A classical left-hander, but power to the leg side as well. She's been doing it for such a long time, but the first time that she's really done it in Asia Cup and on home soil as well. A special innings for her. And will that be a warning shot for semi-finals and finals? Sri Lanka feel like the team that could challenge India to the semi-finals. They'll hope to top the group. They won't face India there. This was the moment. Just how long it hangs in the air. That's 6 anywhere in the world. That's the power she possesses. And her team knows what they have in her.
She looks a natural athlete, Chamari. The way she moves, the way she bats. And do you know that her mother's here? She's just seen her daughter score 100, and she's never seen a game of Chamari for 14 years. And this is her first game in 14 years, and Chamari Athapaththu has just made it memorable.
Do you know, I wondered, because the 50, I've never seen her celebrate like that. She very clearly pointed into the crowd, and I thought, that's got to be someone from her family. So, gorgeous moment for her.
I really thought that she was waving at the batting coach, because she had not got runs in an Asia Cup. No, it was the mother.
Well, we had the view from the top. We knew she was pointing towards the right. The tent was to the left. A lovely, lovely moment for family. There's the big smile. Chamari spotted her family.
So let's hear from Chamari. Right, we're done 5 overs, 17 for 2. Now we've seen Chamari Athapaththu bat so brilliantly. So let's hear from her.
1996, Sri Lanka men's team won Sri Lanka World Cup first time. That time I'm 6 years old. That day I feel I love cricket. And 1997, first time Sri Lanka women's team playing the World Cup in India. So that day I think, okay, I want to be a cricketer.
It's her day today. Chamari Athapaththu. The family has witnessed something special. Makes it so much more special. This balled. They cannot pick the wrist spin of young Shashini. The 15-year-old now has two. That is a big wicket of Elsa Hunter. Malaysia in trouble.
Yeah, as a batter, you need to keep the eye on that wrist and pick up that drift as well. Just played all over it, trying to work it into the onside. Never a good idea. Another one down and Malaysia are in big trouble now.
Elsa Hunter gone for 10. Malaysia 17 for 3. Right. Shashini Gimhani, youngest player of the tournament. Real novelty to have a left arm wrist spinner. There's Aina walks out.
Just the action. At times you get confused, but it was the line and the length actually. She played all over it.
Yeah, amidst all the wickets, Aina is off the mark and Marina Iqbal and Athar Ali Khan in the house.
I like what I'm seeing from the left arm wrist spin. Shashini made a debut. That was against Uganda, picked up a couple of wickets, 2 for 23. I think what impresses me most from her, it's the line and length. She's not afraid to toss it up to the batters. Hamiza Hashim, 74 matches, good experience.
Oh, you'll forgive her for the odd ball that doesn't release right. She's still a few months away from her 16th birthday.
And among the wickets, very impressive. It's a really good addition in the bowling attack for Sri Lanka.
She was just a matter of millimeters away from her third wicket. Last one was dragged down short. This one didn't land. Not easy, came back hard, got both hands to it. She will be disappointed. She's asking questions of almost every ball. Another successful over for Shashini. Power play comes to an end. Malaysia 21 for 3. Yeah, one-way traffic. This Group B game in Dambulla. Malaysia came out with a mountain to climb and it didn't start well. Winifred Duraisingham, the captain, dismissed. And Elsa Hunter had to take on the bowling with the score in excess of 180. She could not take on Shashini Gimhani. That was Juan Julia first, and Elsa Hunter followed soon after.
Two big wickets. Malaysia needed them, especially for this chase. Probably try to get closer. They're back in the hut and now has a huge responsibility the rest of ones.
Well, they're allowed to have more outside. I doubt they'll take the option. Just a sweeper on the offside and deep mid-wicket. As Sri Lanka look to attack, and the asking rate is climbing insurmountably now, nearly at 12. Here's Inoshi. Hold the second over of the innings. Back for a second spell. We'll have to reload. Inoshi Fernando was terrific in that opening game. Took an absolute blinder of her own bowling. That's something Shashini missed out on. Last ball of the previous over. Simple, so simple for Sri Lanka. Inoshi Fernando among the wickets. More misery for Malaysia.
He's trying to over-attack. He's looking to go straight down the ground, sliced it in an easy catch. You know, she has been superb amongst the wickets. Malaysia trembling like cards now. Another one gone, and it will be a slow, agonizing walk back to the hug. Anina, Hamiza, Hashim gone. 23 for home Malaysia.
Four down. It's just going from bad to worse for Malaysians. As Aina Najwa walks out.
Sri Lanka going from strength to strength. Remember, they started the campaign with a really good win against Bangladesh, winning that by 7 wickets. And it's all been about the skipper. The way she handled herself in the middle. First batter to score a century in Asia Cup, T20 International. A 3rd century in T20 International, her highest individual score in T20 Internationals. No, that's the last one. No, they're all at sea at the moment against the bowling of Sri Lanka.
Yeah, they will learn. Lowest ranked team in this tournament, Malaysia. Been regulars here. They earn the right to play by competing well in the ACC Women's Premier Cup. This is a high quality Sri Lankan side, perhaps at the peak of their powers. It's just been brilliant to see the support they've got. They had their moment in the game against Thailand. For the now moment, it's all Sri Lanka, 25 for 4. Just dominating performance from Sri Lanka. What can Malaysia get here? Can one or two of their batters at least get themselves a score? The experience of getting some runs from this is there's another change in the bowling in the form of Sachini Nisansala into the side, like for like replacement. Sugandhika Kumari missing out, left arm spin for left arm spin.
Yeah, 2 for 7 for Sachini in the 2 overs that she bowled. I would have loved to watch her complete a full quarter overs. That's the next game, Bangladesh taking on Thailand. Well, Bangladesh will need to be at their best.
Yeah, they're winless in 2024. Didn't start well against Sri Lanka. Perhaps they were just waiting for the arrival of a good omen into Dambulla. Perhaps someone whose heart beats red and green. The king of broadcast from Bangladesh. Perhaps that'll change their fortunes. Close. That's what they're hoping for, Athar Ali Khan. Now that you've joined us, could we see this kind of dominating performance from the other full member later this evening? They were waiting for you, Athar.
Well, it's not about me, Ronak. It's all about them. How they go and handle themselves in the middle. And they have good quality. Yes, they didn't start the tournament. You mentioned about this year. There hasn't been a good one for them. But it's only one game at a time. Important for them to realize the fact that they can turn things around in their favor. They'll get into some sort of momentum. That's what they would be hoping for. And just to add to what Bangladesh were hoping for, there are 3 experienced campaigner. Romana Ahmed, then there is Jahanara Alam, and also Murshida Khatun, the left-hander opener. I would like to see them in the 11, to be very honest.
Well, they can't have the TV on when they're here, but they've heard that loud and clear from Athar Ali Khan. 26 for 4 Malaysia. Right. Amakantana back into the playing 11 as well, one of 4 changes. Edged and past the keeper, but Chamari Athapaththu can do little wrong today. Didn't carry to her, it slipped. She's done well to stop the ball from racing away.
You can expect that from Amakanchana, experienced campaigner. No foot movement, just the hands doing the talking. That was a hard chance. Probably a step in for the keeper as well. Chamari has done well, otherwise it would have been a boundary.
It's well judged run, put some pressure on the fielder. Right, Athar Ali Khan just talking about the evening game, how much is at stake for Bangladesh and the squad that they have, a recall for senior players and a home World Cup coming up. Athar Ali Khan?
Yes, absolutely. It's important for Bangladesh think tank to realize the fact that what is their best combination. The skipper is played her part with the bat 48 in that first match against Sri Lanka. But it's the power play where they struggled to lose wickets one after another. There was 4 down for 17 in the first 6 overs. That has been the problem. So probably that's one of the reasons why I'm saying that maybe the experience of Romana Ahmed and company will help them to establish themselves in a manner where they can go and dictate terms. It's not easy because they'll have not won a match for a long period of time. Important, so very important to get your thought process in the right direction and pick up the right score. Remember, Sri Lanka winning that match made 4 changes today. And it's gone in their favor in terms of not only batting, but also bowling.
And Thailand are a team that'll sense any nerves if Bangladesh come into that game with any. A much better team than Nepal, with due respect to them. Thailand are capable of causing the upset. Bangladesh need to enter that game like bosses. They need to enter that game to intimidate the opposition. They are former champions of this tournament, the only other team, apart from India, who have won it. And with how that points table stands, Sri Lanka would likely win here. Bangladesh have to win, else their semi-final hopes are over. 9 gone, 29 for 4. Well, they are swarming into Dambola to watch the action. At the moment, it's Malaysia who are stung. First by Chamari Athapaththu, and now an all-round bowling effort. It's been a picture-perfect day for Chamari Athapaththu. It's a bit slower. Chamari's actually gone wider at slip. Few balls now of spinner gone in between slip and the one fielder at backward point. Not a conventional short third.
At least what Malaysia needs to do is rotate the strike. These dot balls are not going to help them, not even for their own confidence as batters.
They've failed to find the gaps. It's not only about the gaps, it's also thinking to push it with softer hands and look to have that eye contact with the non-striker to ensure that yes, a single is on, because this innings is going nowhere.
Yeah, just a little more intent. Just work that around instead of playing it straight to a number of the fielders that are in. And good on Chamari Athapaththu. She's not letting the game just drift. Well on course to winning, but she's only had 3 fielders in the deep on the leg side. Still attacking. Plenty of catchers. Slip, short cover, short mid-wicket. Players saving the single, making it hard. Now, those are the kind of deliveries Malaysia would do. They want to try and at least get runs of those. Halfway stage, Sri Lanka bossing at 31 for 4 Malaysia.
Right, that's where the game is. Malaysia need a mammoth 154 of just 60 balls, and that's asking for a lot when you're 31 for 4 in 10 overs, Isabel. Especially after Sri Lanka got up to 184 for 4. Just to remind you, Pakistan versus UAE coming up. That's the first game tomorrow, on air at 1:30 local time. And then the big one, another big one I should say, India. They're going to come back again, and they're going to be on show for the second time, third time in fact, in the Asia Cup. And that game will start at 7 local time, and we'll be on air at 6:30. So we do know these are powerhouses of Asian women cricket. Both India and Pakistan will be in action tomorrow.
Well, that first game is going to be interesting because despite the fact that UAE haven't won a game, the other 2 teams, aside from India, have each won 1. So there's an opportunity for UAE. They're at the bottom there on the left. If they can beat Pakistan, then it becomes a net run rate chase between Pakistan, Nepal and UAE. It's almost the same on the right because this evening, Thailand, well, they've got a win. Bangladesh without a win. So that's a huge game in particular for Bangladesh.
So slip in for Kanchana, wicketkeeper standing back. She can be a bit pacey, doesn't she? She just rushes the batter, bowls with a slightly lower arm, but tends to rush the batter.
She's one of the most side-on bowlers I've ever seen. Gets really, really side-on, comes all the way over the top. Even though she doesn't have a long run-up, she gets a lot out of that last stride and gets good, really good knee drive at the end of her action.
Well, the keeper standing up, but she can be skiddy. She looks a skiddy kind of bowler.
I think she's standing up because you're not going to get a huge amount of bounce with this action, but you can get a skiddy kind of pace. Have a look at how side-on she gets here. Really close to the stumps, and then that back knee does manage to come all the way around. That's what adds that bit of pace at the end.
She looks to be mixing it up. She can surprise you. This is the action again. Look at the run-up. And you spoke about that lower arm. And also the follow-through, a very strong follow-through from Kanchana.
Takes a lot of strength to get that kind of knee drive when you've got such a big stride. She's got quite a big delivery stride, just a little bit wide, does get an edge past the slip. There's runs coming, but very slowly for Malaysia, and this is what we were speaking about at the start. Did they maybe think about lowering their expectations there, happy fans? Well, they're always smiling. That's my experience of being in Sri Lanka. Very, very happy people, very friendly, and they've been so welcoming ever since I got here, so it's a delight to be here.
Done. That's wicket number 5. And this time it is Kanchana. We spoke about how canny she is, how she mixes it up, and no real answer that time.
Much fuller, and that's that extra bit of pace. It got onto her quicker than she expected. Well, disappointment for Mihira, but the bowler is happy. Of course she is. Nice and full, gets it full and straight. That's the end for Mihira Isati Ismail. 7 from 21 deliveries, a tortured innings, truth be told. Malaysia lose their 5th, they're 32 for 5.
Right. Anusri Sri Muhunan is the new batter. Again, it's the exposure we're talking about. I don't think Malaysia lacks talent. There is talent, and I heard that there's talent coming through. Inter-movement. And a very good over. 1 run and a wicket, 32 for 5. Right, we're seeing that wrist spinner bowling again. We got a few people watching this game. Isabel, I got some interesting stats, information about the Sri Lankan team in the last 3 years and the way they've progressed in terms of the run rates. Now in 2022, Sri Lanka was their run rate, batting first, was under 6 runs and over. Played 16 matches and just won 8. That's a 50% strike rate. Okay. I know 2023, the run rate 6.4, just 2 wins out of 6. Right, this is an interesting action. We'll talk about the Sri Lankan run rate, but let's talk about this action.
Well, it's left arm wrist spin, but she's not looking to turn the ball left to right, really over the top. Look how low her head comes as she releases. And that's why it goes actually across the right-hander. you're expecting from a left arm wrist spinner that it'll bounce and turn back into the right hander, but really because of that action where her fingers end up, she's coming right over the top, and the release means that it's really just skidding across, and it's almost a top spinner going across the batter every single time.
So let me just quickly finish off. I think first in 2024, Sri Lanka has run rate has improved to 7.3, and they've won 5 out of 7 batting first. So there you could see the progress of the Sri Lankan team, and no surprises that 2024 has been a good year for Sri Lanka, the Sri Lankan ladies, and their win percentage has been outstanding, and largely due to this player or this lady, Chamari Athapaththu. Good over. Just a single. 12 done, 33 for 5. It's becoming difficult for Malaysia. They're really up against it. 152 of 8 overs. The asking rate is now 19 runs an over. And Dambulla is a place where you get lots of cricket fans. We did have the Lanka Premier League here just a few weeks ago, and we had almost near full houses. Afghanistan played here in the men's 3-game series. We had sell-out crowds, and it's simply amazing the way the fans from Dambulla and in and around Dambulla coming over. Little chip on the bounce. This is Dilhari.
Well, the bowlers just keep coming for Sri Lanka. That's one thing Malaysia will be finding out. There's no one you can line up. Everyone takes over from the last. Kavisha Dilhari always bowls in the second half of the game. And it's Ariel as well. Well, 2 bits of luck went over the bowler's head just about. That one's not reached the fielder in point, but not getting the pace of the bowlers really. And threw the shot far too early, looking to play it leg side. Perhaps thinks there's going to be some spin to help her. Kavisha Dilhari will think she's in with a shout here.
See, if you look at the Sri Lankan makeup, the Sri Lankan team, see, these girls, most of them haven't played school cricket. They haven't started at a young age. They've started at an advanced age compared to the men or the boys. So considering that, looking at the natural talent and looking at their technique, I think they should be commended. I don't think they've gone through much coaching as juniors. They've been exposed to coaching only when they reached a national or a senior level. So they've done themselves a lot of good here. And lots of young cricketers, experienced cricketers coming through. And just speaking to the selectors a few minutes ago, they said quite a few promising under-19 ones waiting in the wings.
Well, the brilliant thing now is that we've got the Under-19 World Cup, which has been a brilliant addition because it's something for those youngsters to work towards. It might be difficult to get into the senior team, but you can find your spot, and that's where we first saw Vishmi Gunaratne really shine on the world stage.
"13 done. She starts off with the maiden, 33 for 5. We do have a few people that have turned up to support the Women's Asia Cup and particularly watch the Sri Lankan ladies playing, and also time for some kites. Dambulla is a famous place if you want to fly a kite. left arm spin. Nice orthodox left arm spin. Finger spin from Nisansala. Nice loop to start with. Now this is a very good drift to work with for the left arm spinner.
Just think about the luxury that you can have to swap one left arm spinner for another, and this is the spinner you bring in. Great control, lovely pace. Looks like it's quite loopy, but really it comes on to quicker than you expect. She's bowling from the right end as well. Wind coming across from left to right. So she'll get all the assistance, but the captain obviously thinks there's turn on show because she's in slip, quite a wide slip there.
And she is bringing it in with the arm that time. That's the arm ball, and look at how quickly it hits the bat. As you said, she looks loopy, but she is quicker than what one might think. And look how quickly it hits the bat. It bounces too. The bat was still coming.
Her feet and her knee drive are absolutely perfect. When you talk about left arm spinners, they often struggle to stay up straight and to get that left knee through. That's why you get the round arm and they can't really turn it, but she's right up and over a straight front leg, and then the back left knee drives through nicely.
That time, that's gone. Good catch by the keeper. Good sharp catch. Never easy. Underedges are never easy, I'll tell you. There was bounce and good reaction by the wicketkeeper.
You have to stay down as a wicketkeeper, they always tell you, but it's easier said than done. Brilliant bottom edge. It was never there to cut. Well, it was an easy decision to make because everyone on the ground knew that it hit the bottom edge. So she's pleased about it. Sanjuani, we saw her with bat in hand earlier, just as good with the gloves on. Well, Tanu Street, her stay at the crease ends. She hasn't scored from her 7 deliveries. Malaysia 33 for 6.
Right, so Aisha Elisa is the new batter. She's played 49 games, but she's more a bowler. Nice drift. I like that drift into the right hander. Take a look at the... In fact, we'll do it the next over. 33 for 6. .33 for 6. Look at the drift. That time a little bit wide, but she goes wide of the crease and looks to drift it into the right hander. Like the pace she bowls. Just a bit of bounce, not much turn, but always the cross crease can be a great friend to a spinner.
No, she's not looking to turn it really. She's using the crease, as you said, changing up her pace slightly. It's only the smallest changes you need to make. And then when, as a left arm spinner, if you can get it full outside off stump, you can often get that cut shot played. On top edge, the fielder's gone out at long on. A bit of respect being shown by Sri Lanka. They still have 3 fielders out. Cover mid-wicket and long on. They'll bring that fielder into the ring in mid-on now for the new batter, Elisa. Still smiles on the faces for Malaysia. This probably wasn't the game they were targeting. They know Sri Lanka are the powerhouse on this side of the groups.
Sri Lanka has used 6 bowlers here, and that's a good workout that the bowlers are getting here, and that's important. Always, it is imperative that you get some opportunity, get some time in games, bowling in the middle. In match situations, batting and bowling in match situations are so important. Yes, players do spend hours and hours in nets, but it can never be compared to what you do in the middle. So this is a good workout for the Sri Lankan bowlers. 6 of them been tried.
And Chamari hasn't bowled herself, as you often see for Sri Lanka. If they're not in trouble, she won't roll the arm over. She'd rather give the overs to her younger teammates. Sign of a good leader.
So they're asking for an LBW here, unless there was an inside edge. Now you spoke about Chamari. I think she's earned that privilege. I mean, she's doing all the batting. She doesn't have to bowl. Let's take a look. Oh yes, has to be an inside edge.
Well, if there wasn't an inside edge, it was pretty adjacent, but we heard a sound. First the bat, then the boot.
Just a single, working it around with the turn. So Malaysia run rate at 2.43. Asking rate is now at 29 runs to an over. That's asking for a lot. In for the last ball of the 15th over. Cannot find a gap. Good piece of work, good backing up though. 15 done, 36 for 6, Malaysia.
Big game coming up for Group B. Thailand picking up a win in their opening game and Bangladesh still winless. They must win to make a case for the semi-finals, where Sri Lanka are certainly headed. Games are wrapped up well and truly. Only a matter of time before we confirm the result. But it's more than just this game. Sri Lanka are eyeing. They're eyeing the performance of individuals. And Shashini has done her case no harm into her final over, continuing to bamboozle the batters as Marina Iqbal and Athar Ali Khan join me.
Just lining herself up for a big shot. As Izzy was mentioning, it went away from her. Not a conventional left-arm wrist spinner. Usually you would like to play them as an off-spinner, being a right-hander, but this action is different.
Yeah, Sri Lanka are certainly expected to have this kind of performance. They've dominated even more, which augurs well for them. There's two games that they're playing here. One is to get the result and the job done. The other is look at individuals. And there is an individual of real quality and promise. The 15-year-old Shashini Gimani has another wicket, her third. And Malaysia are now wrecked with 7 wickets down.
Sri Lankan management and Chamari has put a lot of trust in Shashini, and she's been delivering this one quicker. Caught on crease. And the rest was undone by that delivery. It's great to see backing youngsters in this format. Nasia Lisa gone on 1. Malaysia 7 down on 37.
Right, this will be fun. 16-year-old batter, 15-year-old bowler. Both will take plenty from this regardless of the result. Shashini and Swabika will certainly feature in that upcoming Under-19 Women's World Cup next year.
Yeah, the other teams will be keeping a very close eye on Sri Lanka because now they've started to show the kind of strength they possess. not only in the batting department. Remember, Chamari Athapaththu scored a massive 100. But what about the bowling department? She didn't play the first match. Now she's picked up 3 wickets. Now they're looking at dangerous side, especially in these conditions. After 16, 37 for 7.
Well, it's a standout name on the summary. That is Chamari Athapaththu.
Rhyming you are, Ronak. Actually, it's a daunting name for the bowlers. Talking about Shashini, I'm a huge advocate that whenever you sense a chance where you can put a youngster in, give them as much as match exposure as you can. That's where they learn. They don't learn on the bench. You give them the actual action, the real experience in the middle, and they'll learn quickly.
Yeah, it's a sweet selection headache for Sri Lanka as well. With Isabel Joyce mentioning the team they start with the tournament with is usually their best team. That'll play the semi-final and final. But I'd be very keen to see how Shashini goes against higher quality opposition, whether Pakistan, in all likelihood. She could trouble some of Pakistan's batters. Who knows, maybe even against India. It's an X-factor bowler if she can get it right.
It hasn't really been tested against Malaysia, obviously. Some good batters will attack her, and that's when how she'll react will determine.
You also have to look at what Ramesh Ratnayaka, the head coach of Sri Lankan team, is thinking. Starting with a win, a good win against Bangladesh by 7 wickets, one would have thought that he would have opted to go with the same combination. Not the case, because they want to find the right combination. Especially Shashini, she has been very impressive. It's not about taking the wickets. It's about where you land the ball. I think she's been excellent. There's another good delivery. They're at sea. They've been struggling against some really high-quality bowling, and that's him, Ramesh Ratnayaka, former Sri Lankan international.
And well taken. In the air for a long time, allowed the fielder to make the run and judge it. It's just academic from Sri Lanka's point of view. The 8th wicket falls.
And just check her shot, trying to clear the infield. Was nowhere near the pitch of the delivery. Another one fall down, and things are wrapping up for Malaysia. As 8th one is down on 38. And Subaika, she takes the walk back on duck. 38 for 8 Malaysia.
Well, Nidadar is bowling in training at least. She's up against the UAE. Shahbaz's side looking to bounce back after being humbled against India. They're much happier Pakistan side with Gul Feroza getting some runs. And then, will India make some changes as well? Semi-final spot secured. As Nepal look to put in their own impression in the final game of the group stage for both teams. Straight through. Delari makes a mess of the stumps. And that is wicket number 9 as Sri Lanka inch closer to a commanding win.
Yeah, you cannot play a spinner just standing in the crease. No footwork whatsoever. Bat going across the line. And that was meant to happen. Woodwork crumbled. Another one gone down. Hands on the head of Winifred, the Malaysian captain. 9th one down for Malaysia. Nuruzatul Saifika gone on duck. 38 for 9.
Total domination in terms of batting, and now the bowling department showing their colours. Their main business here. They've given no chance whatsoever. Chamari Athapaththu was outstanding with the bat, dominated. That's last player in, Amalin Surfina. And they had no answer to the bowlers from Sri Lanka. They struggled right from the word go.
Nissan Salah will also bowl out. So she aims to clean up the innings. Yeah, it's been a crushing defeat for Malaysia. You do feel for them. They don't have the opportunity to play high-ranked opposition often, and that's what this tournament provides them the opportunity for. That's well placed.
Well, they'll be disappointed because remember the last match that they played against Thailand, they were chasing and they added 68 for the opening partnership. That's the wicket. Oh no, beg your pardon. That's the last delivery. Just falling short of the fielder.
Yeah, they earned their spot in this tournament. Now playing against these oppositions in different conditions obviously will give a good exposure, and they can understand where they stand at international level and what they need to do in terms of fitness, mental strength, skill set.
Yes, and they can just put this game behind now. Just reset for the next one. Malaysia will have a game against Bangladesh coming up on the final day of the group stage. I keep mentioning that Under-19 Women's World Cup, again, brilliant tournament. Malaysia will have the right to play against higher ranked opposition at the age group level, at least there. And a number of these players will take the experience from here. We've already seen they're well supported. Contingent is here, support the senior team.
Goal.
18 gone, 2 overs to go, 1 wicket remaining, 39 for 9 Malaysia. Coming up this evening, sun sets in Dambulla, Thailand, after putting the win through against Malaysia themselves, come up against Bangladesh, fresh of the defeat to Sri Lanka. Group B action this double-header Monday. Amma Kansana, slingy seamer, look to attack the stumps and finish this off. Well, give it up to Najwa, actually. She's still batted 41 balls. She's seen carnage around her. It's little wins that you take from this. One Julia with a 50. At least you bat time.
What kind of advice, Marina, would you be giving to Malaysian team if you do come across them? What would be the message across them?
Yeah, I would tell them not to worry about the defeats. I mean, yes, they've earned their place here, but they've got enough exposure playing against good opponents where they can learn, watch and learn, play and learn, and can assess where they're standing in terms of the skill set, the things they need to reach. So I think it's all positive for them. They need to keep their heads high. They had a good match against Thailand, almost ended up in a win, but there were crucial times where they gave up. And these are the small things they need to work on. And in terms of development, especially in batting and fielding, I would like them to work harder.
Yeah, add to what you just mentioned, you're spot on, but I also feel the skipper and Van Julia, who scored 52 in that first match, they need to take a little bit more responsibility right at the top of the order, because they did manage to score 68 in that 11 overs chasing against Thailand. So the ones that are in some sort of form, they got to put their hands up and said, okay, it's my job to ensure that I stay as long as possible. And if you do, then things can go and turn in your favor. But if you don't, then that's where the problem starts. I mean, look at the fall of wickets. They lost their first wicket without any runs on the board. 14 for 2, 17 for 3, 23 for 4, 32 for 5, and so on.
Yeah, they've been outplayed today. They'll have better days. Today is not one of them. 40 for 9, 1 over to go. Chamari Athapaththu is largely responsible for that. They'll probably learn even just watching how she went about her own innings. Some loose balls that they'll try and correct. Just punished anything that was in her arc. And did have the opportunity to dismiss her on 56. Fielding ever so important when you come up against higher ranked opposition. Important always, even more so when you're playing the top teams in the tournament.
Yeah, 98 of those runs coming in boundaries. That's incredible. Incredible for any batter to score that percentage of runs in boundaries. She's a powerful, powerful batter. And she sets herself very nicely. The foundation, the base that she has when she's ready to face the delivery, she gets into a really good position. And it smashes her all the way to pick up those big boundaries. What a knock!
Yeah, and even when they were going hard for a large part of the innings, Kavindi will close things out. You had Aisha Elisa bowl a 19th over where she didn't concede a boundary. There's Swabika who dismissed Vishmi Gunaratne early. Swings the ball, she's young. So they'll at least try and focus on those aspects and improve on perhaps the fielding overall. Lots of balls going through the infield, through the fielders. That's in their hands, that they can control. Now it's been a game controlled entirely from start to finish by Chamari Athapaththu's Sri Lanka.
Yeah, it's about partnership too. I know she's played a really good role with the bat, but she had someone like Sanjeevani. They added 115 runs in just 62 deliveries. 68 coming in the last 5 overs. So it's about partnership. You look to have someone to bat through with you. Excellent, absolutely brilliant from Sri Lanka.
And also, I think when we talk about Chamari's inning, it's also an example for many players out there, especially given the fact it's T20, that she conceded 35 deliveries for her first 50 and then accelerated, got next 15, 28 deliveries. That's how a player should approach. Well settled in, should go all out and play that big strokes, and that's exactly what Chamari has done. So everyone out there who has witnessed this exceptional knock should take these points away.
Yeah, when you score you've ended up scoring 119 of 184. Essentially had an incredible day. Individual brilliance, which Malaysia were regrettably at the receiving end. She got 119 of 38 scoring balls. Dropped on 56. That's something that the coaching staff will speak of from a Malaysian point of view. All done and dusted. All Sri Lanka. The hosts march on by crushing Malaysia by 144 runs. Their highest margin of victory in the Asia Cup. And they have Chamari Athapaththu's brilliance with the bat to thank for it. And a ruthless display with the ball to follow it up as Malaysia are humbled.
Good all-round performance from Sri Lanka, dominating one, starting with the captain herself. Sensational innings, scoring a third 100. And then the bowlers did their job. They were clinical, good line and length, read the game well, used the conditions, and never allowed Malaysia any momentum whatsoever.
It's a massive win. It's a massive, massive win for Sri Lanka by 144 runs. What a display, especially from the skipper, leading from the front, setting a really good example of how one should bat on these surfaces. Once again, it's turned out to be a batting paradise, not for Malaysia, but for Sri Lanka.
Yeah, they'll all congratulate Chamari Athapaththu. It's the standard post-match ritual, but I'm sure they'll also appreciate what they've seen as the opposition. Malaysian head coach clearly has extra words of appreciation. And who wouldn't? What a treat we've been receiving end of. Beautiful touch from Chamari. She is a senior statesman of this side, well loved and respected throughout the stage of world cricket. Well, it's disappointing reading. Only one batter getting to double figures. Aina Najwa batted for a long time, batted 43 balls, just got 9. Now they just need to put this one away, Malaysia. 40 is all they've managed. Well, on a day where Chamari Athapaththu got 119 of her own bat.
They were superb and dominating in bowling as well. Never allowed any momentum to Malaysia. 3 wickets from the youngster. Got her chance today. Shashini Gimhani. And look at that. Just 9 runs, 3 wickets. That will be a memorable start for her.
Well, it just went wrong from the very first over. Kavya Kavindi starting the innings just as she finished it. And Elsa Hunter came out swinging as they needed to. 1 Julia, 50 in the last game, but just bamboozled by the wrist spin of 15-year-old Shashini Gimani. Had a chance go down, one of the few things that Sri Lanka didn't get right today. One after the other, the wickets just kept falling. Inoshi Fernando got him amongst the action. Entire innings with just 2 boundaries in it of the bat of Elsa Hunter. Nissan Salah getting in among the wickets, just missing Dhanushri. She enjoyed her first appearance in the Women's Asia Cup, did Shashini Gimani. They were efficient in the field. They were outstanding in the field against Bangladesh. And the stumps were kept busy today in the Sri Lankan bowling innings. Sri Lanka then registering their highest margin of win in the history of the Asia Cup. 119 of 184. That's the team score that Chamari Athapaththu managed, and Malaysia barely got a third of the runs that the Sri Lankan captain did. Shashini Gimani also enjoying herself. Sri Lanka win by 144 runs. They book a place in the semi-finals of the tournament. Standout team, the hosts. They have bigger aspirations. Malaysia will move on to the next one. Thailand, Bangladesh coming up. But on the other side, we'll hear from the captain.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have just seen a truly magnificent innings by Chamari Athapaththu, her best in her T20 career, best by a Sri Lankan batter, and the third T20 100 for her in the career. And congratulations to Sri Lanka winning the game by 144 runs. Hello and a warm welcome for the post-match presentation of game number 7 of the Women's Asia Cup 2024, organized by the Asian Cricket Council and hosted by Sri Lanka Cricket between Sri Lanka and Malaysia. Let me first now talk to the losing captain, Winifred Duresingham of Malaysia. Winifred, bad luck. It was a really tough day for your team.
Yeah, I would like to say it was a very tough game for us, but I hope the girls learn something from this game and take back and also come back strong in the next game.
Yeah, how challenging is it for you? We do know that exposure levels are low. So when you come over here to compete with top teams?
I think we are lacking of experience and this is a learning curve for us. So hope we go back and we'll get to learn more and play more against bowlers like this. So I think back home we are still lacking playing against bowlers like this.
All right, bad luck today and all the best.
Thank you so much.
Right, that is the losing captain, Winifred Duresingham. And now, may I now invite Mr. Dinesh Karivasam to come over, who is the Secretary, Polonnaruwa District Cricket Association, who will give away the Player of the Match award to Chamari Athapaththu. It will be a trophy and US 750 check, which she will receive. And she's also the winning captain. And she will receive a further check of $2,000 US. But for the moment, it is the Player of the Match award, which is received from Mr. Dinesh Karivasam. And let me now talk to Chamari, the happy captain, happy batter. What about that innings?
I'm really happy today because I played a little bit good cricket. So my teammates and the support staff, they helped me a lot. And I'm really happy today. And the main reason is my mom is in the play family box after 13 years.
So that's what I heard. So when you were signaling, we were wondering to whom you were giving, you were dedicating this 100 to. So it was to your mom.
Definitely, because she sacrificed a lot of things for me. So I'm happy and thank you very much for my mom.
Yeah, also Chamari, now we know that good wines get better with age. You're like a good wine. You're getting better and better. The hundreds you're scoring, the way you're batting. Now today was exceptional.
Yeah, I enjoy my cricket every day in the middle. Yeah, I know how to handle pressure and I just play my simple game. I execute my plans right time.
Yeah, it was a brilliant knock, no doubt. Just a question about your team changes. What was the thinking about having 4 changes coming into this game?
We think about our World Cup and the Asia Cup finals. We have to give opportunity for the youngsters because we have to build young team for future. So we give opportunity for the youngsters.
Chamari, thank you so much. It was a brilliant innings and we certainly enjoyed it and all the best.
Thank you very much.
So that is indeed the conclusion of our post-match presentation.
Many thanks to Roshan Abeyasinghe and a very happy Sri Lankan captain Chamari Athapaththu. Now onwards to the evening fixture for Group B. Bangladesh take on Thailand. Coverage from 6:30 local time in the evening. It's a big game. Semi-finals on the cards. We'll see you there.